Good morning, dear friend. The sky has barely begun to blush with the first light of day, and already there is something sacred stirring in the air. This is the hour before the noise begins, before the rush takes hold, before the demands of the world knock at your door. It is the stillness of morning, the thin place where heaven seems just a breath away. And here, in this moment, you are not alone. You have arrived at a threshold, and I want to walk with you through it. Somewhere, not far from where you sit, there is a woman curled on the edge of her bed, eyes wide open though the night has passed. Sleep never came, only a stream of worries she could not silence. Her job is uncertain. Her health is fragile. Her heart feels like it is carrying too much, and yet there is no one she dares to burden with it all. She has smiled through her pain, nodded through her exhaustion, and whispered prayers she was not sure were heard. And now, in the silence of dawn, she wonders quietly, desperately, if God is still near. Perhaps her story is not so different from yours. You may not have spoken it aloud, but inside, something aches. You have been trying to hold everything together, trying to appear strong when deep down you feel anything but. Maybe you are grieving a loss others have already moved on from. Maybe you are walking through change, and it feels more like collapse than transformation. Maybe you have reached the edge of what your strength can carry, and your heart is whispering, is there more than this? Yes, there is more. There is a deeper way to walk through life than merely surviving. There is a stillness that outlasts chaos. There is a peace that does not rely on answers. And there is a presence that never leaves, even when we do not feel it. This morning, I invite you to slow your steps and lean into something eternal. This is not just another day. This is a divine invitation. You are being called into a walk not beside religion, not beneath shame, not ahead of grace, but in step with the one who knows the end from the beginning. This walk is not about performance. It is not about perfection. It is about presence. God's presence. His whisper. His guidance. His healing. His truth. The world around us teaches us to run faster. Push harder. Hide deeper. But God calls us to walk with Him, to walk honestly, even when we are tired, to walk humbly, even when we are hurting, to walk bravely, even when we feel broken. And in that walk, step by step, we are changed. Prayer is not a formula. It is not reserved for the few who seem to have everything figured out. It is a conversation, a surrender, safe space for your truth and His grace to meet. It is where wounds begin to mend. It is where confusion finds clarity. It is where silence turns sacred. And you are invited, yes, right now, to begin again. You do not have to be whole to come close. You do not have to understand everything to take the next step. All you need is the willingness to whisper, I am here, and let heaven meet you there. So wherever you are this morning, whether at your kitchen table, on your porch beneath a quiet sky, or simply resting in bed as the sun begins to stretch across your room, take a deep breath. Let the heaviness lift for a moment. Let the noise fall away. This time is for you. And more importantly, it is for God to meet you in your place of need. Let us begin this walk together. Let us speak not from habit, but from hunger. Let us pray not with routine, but with reverence. And as we open our hearts, may we find what cannot be shaken: strength for the weary, peace for the anxious, light for the lost, and love that never lets go. Are you ready? Let us walk. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning, I come to you not with eloquence, not with grand declarations, but with an H I cannot seem to quiet. There is something hollow inside me, something silent and heavy, like a song I forgot the melody to. I woke before the world stirred, not because I felt strong, but because something within me was restless. I thought perhaps it was worry, or fatigue, or the long list of things I cannot control. But as I sit in this stillness, I realize the H is deeper than that. It is not about what I have lost or what I fear. It is about how far I have drifted from you without meaning to. Father, I confess that I have been moving through life on autopilot. Waking, working, trying, surviving. Somewhere along the way, I stopped reaching. I stopped listening. I stopped walking closely. I let the noise of life drown out the whisper of your presence. And now, here in the quiet of this morning, I feel the echo of distance. Not because you left, but because I did. I got too busy to notice the absence of peace. I got too tired to realize my strength had turned into striving. And now I am here, not sure what to say, only knowing that I need you more than anything else. There is a kind of emptiness that no achievement can fill, no relationship can mend, no amount of effort can cure. I feel it now, like standing in a house with beautiful walls, but no foundation. Everything looks fine from the outside, but inside, it is shaky and fragile. That is how I feel. Lord, I have built things, plans, routines, expectations, but I forgot to build them on you. And now they tremble. Now they show cracks. And now I know that I cannot take another step without coming back to you. So here I am. Not proud. Not polished. Just present. Just honest. I do not want to perform for you. I do not want to impress you. I want to be near you. I want to know again what it means to walk with you, not beside you in theory, not ahead of you in pride, not behind you in fear, but with you in real time, in real life, with real surrender. I am tired of pretending that I can do this alone. Tired of speaking strength when all I feel is weakness. Tired of smiling when my soul is sore. I have tried filling the silence with distractions, but they never satisfy. I have tried numbing the H with business, but it always returns. And so, I bring it to you, all of it, the quiet sadness, the unnamed heaviness, the places in me that feel disconnected, lost, and unseen. You already know them, but I need to name them, not for your sake, but for mine. I need to let the walls fall, the defenses crumble, the distance close. This morning, I am not asking for miracles or answers. I am not asking for signs or solutions. I am simply asking for you, for your nearness, for the warmth of your presence to reach the coldest parts of me, for the sound of your whisper to break the silence inside. I do not need everything to change today, but I need to remember that I am not alone in it, that you are here, that you are with me, that even when I wandered, you watched. Even when I pulled away, you waited. Even when I forgot, you remembered. I want to feel you again, not just in holy places or in church songs, but here in the ordinary at my kitchen table, in my quiet thoughts, in the way light slowly stretches across my floor. I want to learn again how to recognize your voice in the mundane, your beauty in the small, your strength in the stillness. I do not want to chase the world's version of success if it means losing this closeness with you. I do not want to win battles that do not matter while losing the war for my soul. So teach me, Father, how to walk again. Not run, not hide. Just walk, step by step, moment by moment. Let this be the beginning of something new, not because my circumstances changed, but because my heart is turning back. Let this morning be the reset I did not know I needed. I am not asking to feel perfect. I am asking to feel real again. To feel connected to the one who knows me better than I know myself. To feel the weight lift, even if just enough to take one more step. You are not far. I know that. You never have been. You were there when I cried in secret. You were there when I laughed without joy. You were there when I went through motions, hoping no one would see the cracks. You have always been here. I was the one who stopped noticing. But I want to see again. I want to hear again. I want to walk again, this time not by sight, but by trust. Dear God, if all I do today is take one true step toward you, let it be enough. If all I offer is honesty, let it be received. If all I can say is, I need you, let that be my song until I learn to sing again. I do not need to be impressive. I just want to be yours. Fully, freely. Again, here I am in the quiet of morning. You have my attention. You have my H. You have my yes. Not just for this moment, but for this journey. Teach me how to begin again, with nothing but an open heart and a willingness to follow. Let this void be filled not with answers, but with you. Let the ache become the altar. Let the silence become the sacred space where I remember what it means to belong. Father, as I sit in this quiet place, something deeper begins to stir within me. The H I brought to you has not disappeared, but now it has a voice. The silence that once felt like absence has turned into a space where I can finally speak, and not with polished words or carefully arranged thoughts, but with the raw truth I have been holding inside for too long. I am not whispering anymore. I am crying out, not always with tears, but with the kind of desperation that rises when there is nowhere else to run. This is not a gentle prayer. This is a reaching prayer, a plea from the depths of a soul that cannot carry the weight alone. God, I do not know when I started pretending I was okay. I do not know when I began hiding my pain even from you, as if you could not see it. But I am done pretending. I am tired of carrying what I was never meant to hold. There are things in me that I have not said out loud. Not because they are not real, but because they hurt too much to name. Disappointments that linger, fears that stalk me in the dark, wounds that never seem to fully close. I bring them all to you now, trembling and exposed, not to be fixed in a moment, but to be seen fully, truly seen. You see the memories that still sting. You see the questions I have buried, the prayers I stopped praying because I was afraid of more silence. You see the parts of me I am ashamed of, the anger I try to suppress, the doubt I try to cover up, the envy I pretend not to feel. And still, you stay. Still, you draw near. Still, you invite me to speak, to weep, to fall apart without fear of being cast aside. So I will not hold back. I will not hide behind strength that is not real. I am here, Lord, in all my humanness, and I am crying out, 'cause you are the only one who can handle the full weight of me. There are things I hoped would be different by now, places in my life where I imagined peace would live. But instead, anxiety has taken root. People I trusted who walked away, plans I worked hard for that unraveled before they began. And deep within, I keep wondering if I missed something, if I failed you, if I made a wrong turn I can't undo. The shame clings like fog, whispering lies that say I am too far gone, too broken, too much. But in this moment, I choose not to listen to shame. I choose to listen for your voice instead. Speak, Lord, not with thunder or spectacle, but with the still, soft word that tells me I am not forsaken. Tell me again that you are near, not only when I feel strong, but especially now, when my spirit feels like it is unraveling. Tell me I am not beyond grace. Remind me that you do not need me to be clean before I come. You just need me to come, so here I am. With everything, not just the parts I am proud of, not just the prayers that sound right, but the messy, complicated, unfinished parts too. I believe you receive it all. I am not asking you to rush in and change every circumstance. I am asking you to sit with me in it, to let me feel you close, to help me know that I can cry out and not be met with silence. I need that, God. I need to know that you hear me, not just the words I say, but the ones I cannot form, the groans that come from the depths, the tears I cannot explain, the quiet sighs that carry more truth than any sentence ever could. This is how I am praying now, not perfectly, not clearly, but desperately, because I believe you hear what is beneath the words. I know there is purpose in pain, but right now I just need presence. I need to feel that I am not alone in this valley. I need to feel that even when I do not understand, I am still held. Even when I doubt, I am still loved. Even when I break, I am not beyond repair. I have looked for comfort in places that only left me emptier. I have tried to distract myself from the H instead of letting it draw me closer to you. But no more. I would rather cry with you than laugh without you. I would rather feel pain in your presence than false peace in distance. This cry is not weakness. It is worship. It is the most honest offering I have. It is my spirit saying, I still believe you are listening. And that is enough. Even when I do not feel strong, I can still be surrendered. Even when I do not feel worthy, I can still be welcomed. You do not ask me to have it all together. You ask me to come as I am. And right now, that means coming undone. You are not uncomfortable with my sorrow. You are not afraid of my honesty. You are not impatient with my process. You are the God who meets people in caves, in deserts, in prison cells, in storms. And so, I believe you meet me here too, on this floor, in this silence, through this cry. And that is the beginning of healing. That is the beginning of returning. That is the beginning of hope. Let these tears water something sacred. Let them fall where you can grow something new. I do not want to hold it in anymore. I do not want to carry it alone anymore. I want to cry freely and know I am heard. I want to collapse and know I will not be abandoned. I want to pour out every unspoken thing so that nothing stands between us anymore. I want the floodgates of my heart to open wide so that nothing is hidden. Nothing is off limits. Nothing is held back from you. This is not about fixing me. This is about freeing me. About letting the pain move through instead of building walls to keep it in. About letting you walk with me into the places I have kept locked, the rooms of memory I have avoided, the stories I have rewritten to feel safer. I invite you into all of it now, not as a visitor, but as the one who belongs there more than I ever did. Shine your light into every shadow. Let nothing stay hidden. Let everything be healed. I cry out because I believe you are not only the God who reigns above, but the God who leans in close. You are near to the brokenhearted. You collect every tear. You do not shame my sorrow. You sanctify it. And in that truth, I find the courage to keep crying, to keep reaching, to keep believing that even in this valley, you are making a way I cannot yet see. And that is enough for me to keep breathing. Keep trusting. Keep walking with you, Lord. Even as I cry out from the depths, something in me begins to stir something I thought I had lost. In the middle of all this pain, all this reaching, there is a small flicker I did not expect to find. A memory, gentle but vivid, rises to the surface like a warm light breaking through cold waters. I remember what it was like when I first knew you, when your presence was not a question mark, but a certainty. When I did not have to convince myself you were near, because I could feel it in every breath. I remember that early fire, the kind that burned quietly but powerfully. The way my heart would quicken when I spoke your name. The way tears would fall not from pain, but from overwhelming gratitude. There was a time, not so long ago, when I woke up with songs in my soul and fell asleep with peace wrapped around me like a blanket. Not because everything was perfect, but because I knew I was not alone. Because I knew you were walking with me, and that made all the difference. God, how did I forget that? How did I let it fade? Was it the distractions? The disappointments? The slow erosion of joy by the demands of life? I did not mean to let it go. I did not mean to grow distant, but somewhere along the way, I started replacing wonder with routine, passion with performance, intimacy with habit. I still said your name, but I stopped feeling it. I still prayed, but it felt more like obligation than communion. And now, as I sit in the afterglow of tears and honesty, I realize what I miss most is not clarity or comfort, it is closeness. So, Lord, I am asking you to take me back, not back to the same circumstances, but back to that place in my heart where awe lived, back to the place where I did not try to analyze your every move, but simply trusted your presence, where I did not need all the answers, because I had you. I want to remember how it felt to be fully surrendered, not because I had no choice, but because I did not want any other way. I want to feel again the way I did when you were my first thought in the morning and my last word at night. There were moments, small and sacred, when I knew you were speaking not through thunder or miracles, but through sunsets and silences, through unexpected kindness, through peace that came out of nowhere. I remember walking outside and feeling like creation itself was breathing with me. I remember the way your word felt alive, how every verse seemed like it had been written just for me. That flame burned so brightly once, and though time and trial have dimmed its light, I believe it never fully died. Fan it again. Father, blow gently on the embers that still live inside me. Let the warmth of remembrance awaken a hunger I forgot I had. I do not want a life that only talks about you. I want a life that walks with you. I want the kind of nearness that makes the ordinary holy, the kind of trust that turns fear into faith. Let the memory of who you have always been remind me of who I still am in you. Let that first flame be the match that lights this new morning. I do not want to keep living in a fog of numbness. I do not want to settle for moments of inspiration when I could live in continual communion. I am not asking for emotional highs. I am asking for spiritual depth, for something real, something lasting, something like what we had when I first said yes to you, when I believed without needing proof, when I obeyed without overthinking, when I loved you with a heart that was messy but honest, trembling but true. The world has offered many things since then: achievement, approval, applause, but none of them compare to that first love. Nothing compares to the sacred stillness of knowing you are near. I see now that no amount of progress, success, or clarity can replace the sweetness of intimacy. That is the flame I miss, the fire I long for, and though I feel I have wandered far from it, I believe you are willing to restore it. You are the God who does not shame me for forgetting. You remind me gently, not to condemn, but to rekindle. You are the one who walks back through my memories, not to accuse, but to invite me home, and I am willing to return. I am willing to rediscover the rhythm of your voice, the softness of your nearness, the depth of your love that once made my heart sing, even in sorrow. Let me remember so I can begin again. If I have gotten too familiar, shake me. If I have grown numb, awaken me. If I have allowed cynicism to creep in, cleanse me. I do not want to be a person who just recalls what it once felt like to love you. I want to feel it again, to live it again, and even more deeply than before. Let this time not be a repetition of the past, but a restoration of something fuller, something wiser, something rooted not in feelings alone, but in faithful desire. Remind me, Lord, of the moments you showed up in ways I did not deserve, of the nights you carried me without me knowing, of the mornings when I felt light again, even after seasons of shadow. Remind me how you never stopped pursuing, never stopped whispering, even when I got too distracted to hear. Remind me that you have not changed, even though I have, that your love is not a memory, but a present reality waiting to be welcomed again. This prayer is my invitation, my longing wrapped in words, my heart cracking open so the wind of your spirit can blow through once more. I may not know how to fan the flame back into full fire, but I believe you do, and I trust you will, because you are not only the God of beginnings, you are the God of renewals, of revivals, of second chances. So do it again, Lord. Not just what you did before, but more. Take the small spark and breathe on it. Let it burn in ways I have never known. Let it shape me, stretch me, sanctify me. I remember now. I remember you. And I remember who I was when I walked closely with you. That is who I want to be again, not perfect, but present. Not finished, but faithful. Not strong, but surrendered. Let this remembering lead me home. Let it prepare me for what you are building, not around me, but within me. Let it be the start of a love that burns brighter, deeper, and truer than anything I have ever known. Father, as I sit with these memories, as the warmth of that first flame lingers in my chest, I realize now how far I wandered from it, not in one giant leap, but in small, quiet detours, one distracted moment, one delayed prayer, one quiet compromise. I never meant to drift, but I did. I see that now, clearer than ever. And with that clarity comes confession, not out of shame, but out of longing. I want nothing to stand between us, not even the subtle distance I tried not to notice. Lord, there have been paths I chose knowing they were not yours. I justified them. I called them necessary. I told myself I would return. But the longer I walked away from your presence, the harder it became to feel you. The silence I once feared became familiar. The distance I once hated became manageable, until one day, I was not even sure how to come back. I held onto my pride like a safety blanket, afraid that admitting my missteps would unravel everything I worked so hard to keep together. But now I see that nothing is worth holding on to if it costs me closeness with you. So here I am, God, laying it all bare. Every decision I made that was rooted in fear instead of trust. Every moment I listened to the voices of doubt more than I listened to your spirit. Every time I chose comfort over conviction. I see it now not with condemnation, but with clarity. I see the moments I rushed ahead, thinking I knew better. I see the times I hesitated when you called, afraid of what obedience would require. And I see the damage, not just around me, but within me. The erosion of peace, the dulling of joy, the loss of that vibrant nearness I once knew so well. I am tired of pretending I do not notice. I am tired of explaining away the emptiness. I am tired of calling it growth when it is really just avoidance. I want to come back, fully, not halfway, not with conditions, not with excuses. I want to be able to say, with every fiber of my being, that I am ready to follow you again, not only in words, but in the way I live and move and choose. And I know that begins with repentance, not the kind that just says sorry, but the kind that turns, the kind that surrenders, the kind that walks away from the detour and returns to the path you made just for me. Forgive me, Lord, for the ways I have resisted you. Forgive me for the times I made my plans and asked you to bless them, instead of waiting for your voice. Forgive me for the resentment I held when things did not go my way, as if you owed me anything other than mercy. Forgive me for the ways I spoke about faith, but did not live it. For the days I looked more to my phone than to your word. For the nights I numbed instead of kneeling. I do not want a surface-level life. I want something rooted. Something holy. Something true. I know I cannot undo the past, but I can bring it to you. I can place each misstep, each misjudgment, each missed moment in your hands and trust that you are not only able to forgive, but to restore. You are the God who writes redemption into every sentence, even the ones I wish I could erase. You waste nothing, not even the chapters I wrote without you. So I give them back to you now. I place every detour at your feet and ask you to lead me forward in truth. God, I do not want to just be sorry. I want to be changed. I want the crooked parts of me to be made straight. I want the clutter of self-will to be cleared away, so that your spirit can move freely in me again. I want my mind to be renewed, my heart to be softened, my steps to be realigned. And I know that starts here in this moment of honesty, in this space where I stop pretending, stop performing, and start confessing what is real. I confess that I let fear control me. I confess that I doubted your goodness when life did not go as planned. I confess that I tried to earn what could only be received. I confess that I have been more focused on outcomes than obedience. I confess that I have tried to look strong when all you ever asked was that I be surrendered. And in this confession, I feel the weight begin to lift. Not because everything is fixed, but because I am no longer hiding. You do not despise my weakness. You meet me in it. You do not shame me for wandering. You welcome me home, and this time, I do not want to come back with conditions. I do not want to hold on to backup plans in case obedience feels too costly. I want to be all in. I want to return fully, wholeheartedly, completely, not for the feeling, but for the faith, not for a quick fix, but for lasting fellowship. I want you more than I want clarity. I want you more than I want comfort. I want you, Lord. Just you. Cleanse me. Wash over the places in me that have grown hard, cynical, or cold. Melt the ice around my disappointments. Touch the parts of me that became numb just to survive. Let your kindness lead me to repentance. not once, but every day. I do not want to treat confession as a ritual. I want it to be a doorway away back into intimacy, into trust, into the steady rhythm of walking with you again. And as I confess, I also ask for courage to make different choices. I ask for strength to stay surrendered when the world tempts me to stray. I ask for discernment to know when I am starting to drift again, and I ask for grace, not the kind that excuses, but the kind that empowers. Grace to follow, grace to obey, grace to believe that no matter how many steps I took away from you, it only takes one to return. This is that step. This is that prayer. This is that moment where detours end and alignment begins. I will not be defined by how far I wandered, but by how fully I return. I will not carry the weight of guilt when you offer me the gift of grace. I will not rehearse my mistakes when you are writing mercy over every one of them. I will not hide when you are calling me close. You are not disappointed in my need. You are not surprised by my flaws. You are not overwhelmed by my journey. You are simply glad I am here, and I am glad too, because no place is safer than this one. No road is more beautiful than the one that leads me back to you. No voice is more healing than yours, so I choose to follow it now. I choose to return not just with my words, but with my whole self. Lord, even now as I turn my heart back toward you, I feel something I did not expect. You were never far. While I wandered through my own confusion, trying to find meaning in hollow places, you were already there, waiting, not with anger or a list of my wrongs, but with the quiet patience of someone who never left. And that realization alone brings me to the edge of tears again. Because you could have turned away. You could have withheld yourself, but you did not. You stayed. Father, I confess I have misunderstood you. I imagined that because I had drifted, you must have turned too. That somehow my silence pushed you into distance. That my failure caused you to give up. But that is not who you are. You are the God who waits. You are the one who stays rooted while I wander. The one who watches the road and runs when he sees me coming home. And not once did you stop hoping I would return. Not once did you withdraw your presence in punishment. You waited, steady, loving, true. I am humbled by that, because I know I have been inconsistent. I have been distracted, restless, at times even dismissive, and yet your faithfulness remained. You never made me earn my way back. You never measured my value by my performance. While I was busy convincing myself that I had to prove something to be worthy of your nearness, you were already near, arms open, heart full, whispering, I am still here. I do not deserve that kind of love. And yet, you keep offering it anyway. God, I remember the days when I questioned your love every time life did not make sense. When pain entered my world, I wondered if you had forgotten me. When doors closed, I doubted your goodness. I let circumstances shape my view of you instead of letting your unchanging nature define my response to the world. But now I see you differently, not because you have changed, but because you have helped me slow down enough to notice what was always true. You have been the constant in my chaos, the steady presence in my storm, the quiet whisper when all I could hear was the noise of my own striving. And though I do not always understand your ways, I am beginning to trust them. I am learning that your waiting is not inactivity, it is mercy. It is space. It is the divine pause that allows me to catch my breath and remember who you are. You do not rush me. You do not demand perfection before proximity. You simply wait with love that does not wear out. Lord, help me rest in that today. Help me stop performing and start receiving. Help me let go of the pressure to earn what you have already given freely. I do not want to rush past your presence in search of answers. I want to sit with you in the unknown and let your nearness become the answer. I want to stop measuring progress by results and start measuring it by intimacy. I want to find joy in the simple fact that you are here. You are the God who stayed through my silence, the God who remained even when I forgot to look for you. And now, with each breath I take, I want to remember that kind of love, the kind that does not walk away when I grow quiet, the kind that does not withdraw when I mess up, the kind that holds steady while I flail. That is who you are, and I never want to forget it again. I used to think that returning to you would be dramatic, that it would require a grand moment, a loud declaration. But now I see it for what it is. A quiet turning of the heart, a whispered yes, a simple step toward the voice that never stopped calling. You have been patient with me, and now I want to be patient with myself too. I want to walk slowly through this restoration. I do not want to rush healing. I do not want to pretend I am further along than I am. I want this walk to be real. God, help me to notice you more, not just in big moments, but in the subtle ones. In the warmth of sunlight through my window, in the quiet kindness of a friend's voice, in the deep exhale of a moment finally surrendered. Help me see those as signs of your waiting love. Remind me that even in the small things, you are speaking. Even in the waiting, you are working. And as I learn to trust this again, I ask for grace to forgive myself for the detours, to stop rehearsing what I could have done differently, and instead lean into the beauty of right now. Because right now, I have you. Right now, I can turn my heart toward you without shame. Right now, I can feel the embrace of a father who never left the porch, never closed the door, never stopped believing I would come back. Let this become my rhythm, not just a moment of return, but a lifestyle of staying close. I do not want to live like you are distant. I want to live like you are with me, because you are. I want to talk to you throughout my day, not just in crisis. I want to hear your voice in the in-between places, the pauses, the transitions, the quiet moments where I used to fill the silence with noise. Let me learn to be still with you again. Let me find home not in a place, but in your presence. This morning is holy, not because everything has changed, but because I am finally aware of what has always been true. That you wait not with impatience, but with tenderness. That you invite, not demand. That you draw me, not drive me. And in that, I find peace I did not know I needed. I find healing that does not come through fixing, but through being found. I find love that never counted the steps away, only rejoiced at the step back. So I will keep walking toward you, slowly, sincerely, steadily. I will not look for a finish line. I will look for your hand. I will stop searching for perfect understanding and start trusting perfect love. I will stop rushing, because you are not in a hurry with me. I will let your presence reshape my pace. Teach me to walk with you, as you have always walked with me faithfully, gently, without letting go. Let this be the morning I remember not only that I returned, but that you had never left. Father, now that I know you have never left, now that I have returned to the place where your presence holds steady and sure, I realize this is more than a moment of reunion. It is the beginning of something new. I can feel it deep inside. This is not just a restoration of what was lost. It is an invitation to walk again, but differently this time. With awareness, with intention, with grace in every step. And honestly, I feel unsure of how to do that. I have unlearned so much of what it means to walk with you, and now I need you to teach me all over again. I have spent so much of my life running, chasing answers, chasing approval, chasing expectations. Even in the name of faith, I have rushed ahead, trying to reach destinations you never asked me to arrive at so quickly. But you are not calling me to run anymore. You are not measuring my pace by the world's standards. You are inviting me to walk, one step, one breath, one surrendered moment at a time. I am ready for that. I want to relearn the rhythm of moving with you, not ahead of you, not apart from you, but with you, God. Show me how to walk in step with your spirit again. Show me how to match your pace, even when it feels slow. Teach me that faithfulness is not proven by speed, but by consistency. Remind me that every small decision matters, that every quiet yes has weight, that obedience in hidden places is just as holy as any public display of devotion. I want to walk with you through the ordinary moments, not just the dramatic ones. I want to know what it means to live in step with peace, to respond rather than react, to follow instead of force. Lord, sometimes I worry I will forget again, that I will lose focus and drift back into striving. But even as that fear rises, you remind me that grace walks with me too, that every time I stumble, you will be right there, not shaming me, but steadying me. I do not need to be perfect to walk with you. I just need to be willing to slow down, willing to listen, willing to trust your timing, even when it does not match mine. I do not want to rush past what you are doing in me, just because the world tells me to hurry. Help me, God, to let go of the pressure to figure it all out. Help me to release the idea that I must always know what comes next. Teach me to embrace the step I am on, to value the process instead of obsessing over the destination. Let this journey be one of surrender, not strategy. Let it be marked not by ambition, but by alignment. I am not trying to build a life that looks good. I am trying to live a life that is good because it is built on your presence, not my performance. I confess, Lord, that I sometimes measure my progress by what others can see. I get caught up in the need to be admired, to feel important, to prove that I am doing well. But you are showing me that real growth often happens underground, in the quiet places, in the unseen acts of obedience. Help me to be okay with walking a path that does not always come with applause. Help me to find joy in faithfulness rather than recognition. Let my heart be content with knowing that you see me, even when no one else does. Father, I want this walk to be about connection, not control. I want to feel your nearness, not just when I worship, but when I wash dishes, when I wait in traffic, when I sit in silence. Let my life become a series of moments strung together by your presence. Let every step be sacred because it is taken with you. I do not want to compartmentalize my faith anymore. I want it to saturate everything. The way I speak, the way I treat people, the way I rest, the way I respond to uncertainty. Walk with me through all of it. Some days, Lord, I know the steps will feel natural, and other days, they will feel uncertain and shaky. But whether I move with confidence or with trembling, I trust that you will stay by my side. When I pause, remind me you are not impatient. When I fall behind, whisper that I am still welcome. When I get ahead of myself, gently pull me back to center. I do not need to lead the way. I need to stay near you, and that nearness is what I crave most. God, I have walked before with my own agenda. I have moved ahead trying to fulfill plans that were never rooted in you. This time, I want my steps to be different, anchored in surrender, guided by your spirit. Not reactive, but responsive. Not rushed, but rooted. Let me be more concerned with whether I am walking with you than how far I have gone. Let the journey matter more than the destination. Let obedience matter more than outcome. There will be days when I am tempted to go back to old patterns, to chase instead of trust, to strive instead of seek. But even then, I know you will be near, reminding me that this walk is not about perfection. It is about presence, about showing up again and again, about saying yes in the small moments, about leaning into your love even when I do not feel worthy. I want to live like every step matters, because it does. And I want to believe that no matter how many times I pause, you will always be ready to keep walking with me. So, Lord, today I take another step. I do not know exactly where we are going, and maybe I do not need to. Maybe what matters most is that we are going together, that you are leading and I am learning, that I am not alone. I may not always know the next move, but I know the one I follow, and that is enough. I do not need to see the whole path to walk it. I just need to trust that your pace is perfect and your presence is steady. Thank you for being patient as I relearn this walk. Thank you for not rushing me. Thank you for celebrating the small steps just as much as the big ones. Thank you for making space for me to move forward even when I feel unsure. I will walk slowly if I must. I will walk quietly if I need to. But I will walk with you. And that, more than anything, is the life I want to live, one step at a time, one sacred breath at a time, hand in hand with you. Father, As I take these new steps with you, I find myself confronted by something I did not realize was so deeply rooted in me: the need to move quickly, to get somewhere, to accomplish something that can be seen and measured. Even in this sacred walk, there is a part of me that wants to hurry, as if slowness somehow means failure, or stillness means falling behind. But you are showing me a better way, a quieter way, a slower, deeper, truer way. Lord, I have lived in a world that glorifies speed. The faster we go, the more we are praised, the more we produce, the more we are valued. But in your presence, I feel something entirely different. I feel the invitation to rest in each moment, to breathe without rushing, to walk without racing, to trust that your pace is not only intentional, it is protective. And that is what I need more than anything right now. Not more movement, more meaning, not more motion, more faith. God, help me trade the need to get there fast for the wisdom to walk with you fully. Teach me that rushing does not bring me closer to peace, and that fast results rarely produce lasting fruit. Teach me that it is okay to slow down, to pause, to be present where I am without panicking about what is next. I do not want to live in the fear of falling behind. I want to live in the trust that I am exactly where you want me, learning exactly what I need, at exactly the right time. There is something healing about your pace. It feels counter to everything I have been taught by the noise around me. The world tells me to hustle, to run harder, to never stop. But you tell me to wait, to listen, to let my soul be still. You do not rush love. You do not rush transformation. You do not rush healing. And I do not want to rush what you are doing in me. I do not want to miss the depth in my pursuit of progress. I do not want to chase outcomes and lose the beauty of this walk. Lord, I confess that I have often equated speed with success. I have believed that if things take too long, maybe something is wrong. But now I see that some of the most sacred things grow slowly, like trust, like wisdom, like roots. And I want to grow roots. I want to become grounded in who you are, not swept away by the urgency of who the world says I should be. I want to believe that the slow work of your spirit is more powerful than anything I could force in my own strength. Help me to embrace the rhythm of patience, not just enduring the wait, but learning from it, listening in it, being changed by it. Let me see delay not as denial, but as divine preparation. Let me view quiet seasons not as punishment, but as protection. You know what I am ready for and what I am not. You see what lies ahead, and if you are holding me back, then there must be something in the holding that matters. Something you are doing in me before you do something through me. God, I do not want to confuse momentum with maturity. I do not want to chase movement at the expense of discernment. I want to walk with wisdom, to pause when you pause, to go only when you say go, to stay when staying requires more courage than running. I trust that your timing is not flawed, that your delays are not cruel, that your slower pace is not a withholding, but a gift, a grace, a way of preparing me so that when I do arrive, I am ready not just in action, but in spirit. Sometimes I feel pressure to keep up, to compare my journey with someone else's, but that only brings anxiety and resentment. You did not create me to follow someone else's path. You did not design me to walk in someone else's shoes. My walk with you is unique, personal, holy. Help me to release the comparison, the timeline, the checklist. Help me to stop measuring my life by the standards of a world that does not know what truly matters. Help me to find joy in every small step with you, even if no one else sees it. Father, thank you for reminding me that trust looks like slowness sometimes, that deep faith often walks. It does not sprint. The kind of growth that changes us happens in the margins, in the pauses, in the stillness, in the hidden places where no applause is heard. I do not want a life that moves fast and ends empty. I want a life that moves with purpose, that is filled with peace, that honors you with every breath. If you ask me to wait, let me wait well. If you ask me to slow down, let me do it without resistance. If you call me to rest, let me not feel guilty for doing so. Let my soul find its rhythm in yours. Unhurried, steady, secure. Let me discover that some of the most powerful moments are the ones where nothing visible happens, where seeds are buried, not blooming yet, but destined to rise in time. You are not a God of chaos. You are a God of order, of intentionality, of seasons. And if I am in a slow season, then this is where you are meeting me. This is where you are forming me, and I will not despise it. I will not wish it away. I will sit with you in it. I will listen. I will grow. I will trust that you are never late and never early. You are always on time, even when your timing feels uncomfortable to me. So teach me to walk by faith, not by the ticking of a clock. Teach me to believe that what matters was not how fast I move, but how fully I depend on you. Let every step I take be anchored in peace. Let it be paced by grace. Let it be marked not by hurry, but by holiness. I want to live like I believe you are worth waiting for. Can I believe your pace is better than mine? Like I know that everything truly good takes time. And even when I do not understand it, even when waiting tests my patience, I will trust you. I will walk beside you, not chasing tomorrow, but cherishing today, not racing ahead, but resting in your presence. This is the life I long for, a life that breathes deeply, walks slowly, and trusts fully. A life not ruled by deadlines, but by divine direction. A life where every step, no matter how small, brings me closer to you. Lord, even as I slow my pace to match yours, I am becoming more aware of something that has been clouding my soul full for far too long: the noise. Not just the sound of the world outside, but the constant clatter within, the inner chatter, the competing thoughts, the pressure, the what-ifs, the should-haves, the endless stream of voices pulling me in every direction except toward stillness. Even now, as I try to rest in you, I find my mind wandering to things that cannot save me. My heart, distracted by what was never meant to define me. Father, I want to be honest with you, because I know you already see it. I've let noise settle in places meant for peace. I have filled the quiet with commentary. I have let distractions take up space where your whisper used to live. I have allowed the volume of life to drown out the one voice that brings clarity, and I am tired of it. I am wary of letting everything else speak louder than you. My soul is craving silence, the kind that invites you to speak without competition. God, help me clear the noise, not just for a moment, but for good. I want to remove what dulls my spiritual senses. I want to tune out what numbs me to your presence. Teach me how to filter what I allow into my spirit. Help me choose stillness over stimulation. I do not want to be so full of everything else that I no longer have room for you. I want to create space, not just in my schedule, but in my spirit. I want to be present, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I want to hear you again, not faintly, but fully. There are so many voices, Lord. Some tell me I am not enough. Others tell me I need to be more. Some offer empty comfort. Others stir anxiety. But your voice is different. It does not shout over the noise. It waits for me to quiet down, to lean in, to choose you over the clutter. I know now that you are not in the chaos. You are in the calm. Not in the frantic movement, but in the still presence. I have missed so much of what you wanted to say. Not because you were silent, but because I did not make room to listen. Help me shut off the endless scroll. Help me walk away from conversations that drain instead of build. Help me close the door on the thoughts that lead nowhere but fear. I want to replace the noise with truth. I want to let your words shape my inner world again. I want to be someone who does not just hear you occasionally, but who lives tuned and sensitive to every nudge, every whisper, every quiet shift in your spirit. I want to become familiar with the sound of your voice again, not because it is rare, but because I have learned to recognize it in the quiet. Lord, I confess that sometimes I have confused business with purpose. I have filled my days with activity, hoping to feel useful, hoping to silence the ache of not knowing what is next. But the more I fill, the more empty I feel, because what I need is not more to do, but more of you. I need space to breathe, to reflect, to wait without panic, to listen without rushing. You do not compete for my attention. You wait for it, and I want to offer it to you freely. Teach me how to sit with you, without agenda, without expectation, just to be near you. Let my soul become quiet enough to notice your nearness. Let my thoughts be stilled enough to hear your truth over every lie. Let my spirit become uncluttered, so there is nothing standing between us. Show me what needs to go. Show me what I have made too loud. Show me the unnecessary weight I have carried that was never mine to bear. I want to return to simplicity, to a faith that listens more than it explains, that waits more than it rushes, that trusts more than it strives. I want my heart to be a quiet sanctuary, not a crowded hallway, a place where you feel welcome, not edged out, a place where your presence is honored, not overshadowed by worry or noise. Make my inner world whole again. Clear out the Deborahs. Sweep away the clutter. Let peace return like a river to a dry land. And Lord, when I am tempted to pick the noise back up, to open the door to distraction, to lean back into anxiety, remind me what it costs. Remind me that clarity never comes through chaos, that answers do not rise from a shouting match, that direction flows from a quiet place, where you can speak without interruption. Help me protect that place. Help me guard the quiet. Help me treasure stillness the way you do. Sometimes the quiet feels uncomfortable, even lonely. But I know now that it is not emptiness, it is invitation. An invitation to go deeper, to hear what I have been too distracted to hear, to feel what I have pushed aside, to confront what I have avoided. You are not afraid of the silence. You use it. You move in it. You speak through it. And so I will no longer fear the quiet. I will welcome it, because if it means more of you, then it is worth everything I must lay down to find it. Let me carry this stillness into every part of my life, into how I speak, how I listen, how I love. Let it shape how I respond to stress, how I handle conflict, how I make decisions. Let the quiet I find with you become the filter through which I experience the world. Let it calm my reactions and align my motives. Let it remind me that I do not need to speak first, move fast, or always have the answer. I just need to stay close. Stay soft. Stay still enough to follow where you lead. So, Father, as I continue this walk, help me walk with clarity, with a soul that is no longer cluttered, with a spirit that is no longer spinning, with ears that are open and a heart that is undivided. Let the noise fade, not just for a moment, but for good. Let your voice rise, not with force, but with familiarity. Let peace take root where panic used to live. Let stillness become my sacred ground, and let my life, from this quiet place, move only as you move. Father, now that the noise has begun to fade and stillness has taken root, I find myself standing at a quiet but powerful place. A crossroads, not one paved with flashing signs or loud commands, but something deeper, an internal intersection between what I feel and what you say, between my way and yours. And I know this is where so many paths either converge with you or veer away. This is the place of agreement, and it is here, in this sacred tension, that I pause and ask you to help me choose the narrow way. Lord, it is one thing to love you when I feel close. It is another to agree with you when what you ask does not make sense to me. I want to say yes. I want to align myself with your will. But if I am honest, sometimes that agreement costs more than I am ready to give. I hesitate. I second guess. I cling to my own understanding because it feels safer than surrender. But even now, in the quiet clarity you have brought me to, I can see the truth. I was never meant to walk in two directions. I can hold on to my plan and walk in yours. God, I do not want to live divided anymore. I do not want to follow you with half of my heart, half of my obedience, half of my trust. I want to say yes in full, not just when it is easy, not just when it feels good, but when it stretches me, when it asks me to release what I have held onto too tightly, when it confronts the things I have made excuses for. I know now that agreement with you is not passive, it is a choice. A commitment, a daily surrender to truth that often challenges what is comfortable. There have been times I have mistaken agreement with silence. I have nodded with my words while resisting with my actions. I have said I trust you but lived as if I do not. But agreement is more than words. It is a posture, a positioning of my will under yours. And that is what I want. Lord, I want to align. I want to stop wrestling and start yielding. I want to stop negotiating and start obeying. You are not asking for performance. You are asking for permission to lead me fully. And that is what I give you now. Even as I speak this, I feel the weight of what it might mean. It might mean walking away from things I thought I could not live without. It might mean forgiving someone who never said they were sorry. It might mean staying when everything in me wants to run, or leaving when staying feels easier. It might mean releasing dreams I have carried for years, or stepping into things I do not feel ready for. But if it means walking with you, then whatever the cost, it will be worth it. Lord, I need courage to say yes without conditions. Courage to trust that your way is not just higher, but kinder, wiser, better. Even when I do not understand, even when it interrupts my plans. You see the whole picture, I only see fragments. You know what will bring life. I often chase what only brings illusion. So right now, in this stillness, I choose to let go of needing all the answers. I choose agreement over explanation. I choose surrender over certainty. Help me live in harmony with what you say, not just when I feel inspired, but when it requires discipline. Help me build my life around your truth, not my preferences. Let agreement be the soil where deeper faith can grow, where peace can take root, where purpose can be revealed. I do not want to follow feelings anymore. I want to follow conviction. I want to become someone who responds to your whisper before the world ever knows why. God, if there is anything in me that resists your voice, show me. If there are places where I have justified my own will over yours, uncover them gently. I do not want blind spots. I do not want hidden rebellion masked as independence. I want to be fully yours, wholehearted, willing, moldable, even when it stretches me, even when it breaks something I thought I needed. Let every no I say to myself become a yes to you. Let every surrender be a seed that bears fruit I could not have grown on my own. Sometimes agreement feels like letting go. Sometimes it feels like stepping into the unknown. Sometimes it means silence when I want to speak, or action when I want to stay still. But whatever it looks like, I trust you will be with me in it. You never ask me to agree from a distance. You walk beside me. You guide each step. You do not push me into obedience. You lead me gently into it, with love that steadies and reassures. And Lord, when the crossroads come again, and I know they will remind me of this moment, remind me that agreement is not about losing freedom, but about walking into a greater one. That your will is not a cage, but a calling. That saying yes to you is never wasted, never empty, never in vain. Even when it is hard, it is holy. Even when it is costly, it is worth it. and every step I take in agreement brings me deeper into the life you designed for me to live. So here I am, at the edge of your invitation again. You are not forcing me. You are offering me a chance to walk with you without hesitation, to trust you without bargaining, to follow you without delay. And this time, I do not want to hold back. I do not want to wait until it is easy. I want to say yes now. Yes to the unknown. Yes to the uncomfortable. Yes to the beauty that only comes from obedience. Let my life echo that yes. Let it show up in my decisions, in my relationships, in how I spend my time and what I give my heart to. Let it shape how I speak, how I serve, how I lead, how I love. Agreement with you is not a line I cross once, it is a path I walk daily. And I want to walk it with boldness, with humility, with trust that deepens as I go. This is where change happens. This is where transformation begins. Not in trying harder, but in agreeing more, not in doing more, but in yielding more. You are not asking me to climb a ladder. You are asking me to take your hand, and I do, with trembling faith, with honest intention. I place my hand in yours. Lead me in agreement, and I will follow, step by surrendered step. Father, even as I whisper my yes in agreement with you, I feel you gently placing your hand on the things I hold most closely. Not the things I have already surrendered, but the ones I still keep protected in the quiet corners of my heart. And I know this moment was always coming, the moment when agreement leads to release, not just of distractions or noise, but of something I love, something I have clung to, something that has wrapped itself around my identity, my security, or my sense of worth. And you are asking for it now, not to take from me, but to free me. Lord, this is not easy. You know it. I can feel my grip tightening, even as I long to open my hands. I do not want to let go of what feels safe, of what has comforted me, even when it has limited me. But I trust you. I trust that what you ask me to lay down, you are more than capable of replacing with something deeper, something more lasting, something that won't fail me in the end. Still, it hurts. It stretches, and it brings tears to the surface because love runs deep, and surrender always touches the most tender places. God, this thing I am holding may not even be wrong. It may not be sinful or harmful. It may be something good, but it has grown too close. It has taken up space that belongs to you. It has become something I rely on more than I should. It shapes my choices, affects my peace, pulls at my heart. And you, in your kindness, are not punishing me by asking for it. You are inviting me into freedom, into the kind of love that holds nothing back. The kind that trusts you not only with my pain, but also with my joy. There is a part of me that wants to argue, that wants to bargain, that wants to say, but this means so much to me. And I hear you whisper, I know. That is why I am asking for it. Because what I give to you, you redeem. What I surrender, you sanctify. And what I lay down, you either return in greater form or replace with something that aligns more perfectly with who I am becoming in you. You are not a thief. You are a refiner. You are not asking me to lose. You are teaching me to love more deeply, more rightly, more freely. Lord, I bring it to you now. This dream, this relationship, this identity, this desire, this fear that if I let it go, I want to know who I am anymore. I lay it on the altar, not as a sacrifice of defeat, but as an offering of trust. I choose to believe that you will meet me here, not with shame, but with comfort, not with silence, but with presence, not with judgment, but with the gentle reassurance that letting go is not the end of love, it is the doorway to something purer. I want to pretend this is easy. I want to fake peace I do not yet feel. But I will be honest with you in the process. I will admit when it aches. I will bring my sorrow to you as often as needed. I will not hide my humanity as I obey, because I know you are near to the broken-hearted. You do not rush me through this surrender. You sit with me in it. You remind me with every breath that you are worthy, that you are enough, that you see beyond what I can, and that in time, I will understand why this letting go was love in its most sacred form. God, help me not to pick it back up once I have laid it down. Help me not to return to what you have called me to release. Give me the strength to walk forward empty-handed, if that is what it takes to walk with you. And if my heart longs for what I have surrendered, meet me there. Remind me that I am not alone in the letting go, that you are the one who walks beside me, holding what I cannot carry, and filling the space with something far more beautiful than I could have imagined. Let this moment mark a shift in me. Let it become the point where I no longer cling to what comforts, but to who transforms. Let it be the beginning of loving you more than anything else, not just in word, but in practice. Not just when I feel strong, but especially when I feel weak. Let my life be built on this posture, hands open, heart surrendered, eyes fixed on you. Teach me that love is not about possession. It is about presence. It is about trust. It is about letting go when you say so, even when every part of me wants to hold on. And when the grief of loss comes, as I know it might, be my comfort. Be my reminder that I did not lose anything if I still have you, that nothing surrendered to you is truly gone, that you are the God who restores, who multiplies, who honors every unseen act of obedience. I want to live in that kind of faith, the kind that believes letting go is holy, the kind that trusts there is purpose in every painful step, the kind that does not cling to this life, but to the giver of it. Father, show me what else I have held too tightly. Reveal to me where my heart is entangled in things I have called mine, were never meant to own. Help me make room. Help me clear space. Help me release not just what you ask today, but anything you ask tomorrow. Let this surrender not be a single act, but a posture I carry with me, a way of walking through life that never resists your voice, a heart that believes you are not just leading me away from something, but leading me into something far greater. You are not finished with me. This surrender is not an end. It is a beginning, a cleansing, a recentering of my soul around the only one who remains when everything else fades. I want to build my life on what cannot be taken, on what cannot be shaken, on you. And if letting go is how I learn to do that, then help me do it bravely. Help me do it freely. Help me do it in love, because you have never taken anything from me without pouring back more of yourself, and there is no gift greater than that. So here I am, Lord. Open hands, tender heart, tearful, maybe, but willing, ready to live without grasping, ready to love without fear, ready to walk forward with you, even if I do not yet know what will take the place of what I have released. You are enough, and with every step, I will trust that. I will walk in the peace of knowing I did not lose what matters. I gained the space for something eternal, something rooted not in what I held, but in who holds me. Lord, now that I have opened my hands and released what I loved, I feel the weight of what trust really costs. Not just the surface trust that nods in agreement, but the kind that holds steady when nothing makes sense. The kind that aches, the kind that asks, will you still be good to me? Even here, I did not expect this emptiness. I did not know that obedience could feel so quiet, but I am here, in this space between surrender and promise. And it hurts more than I thought it would. And yet, I know this is where trust becomes real. Father, I want to believe that trusting you will always feel peaceful, but right now, feels more like standing on a cliff with no visible ground beneath my feet. I keep looking for signs of reassurance, some proof that I won't fall, but you are asking me not to see, but to believe, not to be certain, but to be sure of you. And that is harder than I want to admit, because I like stability. I like knowing what is next. I like control, but control never taught me to trust. It only made me afraid of losing. God, I am learning that trust is not built in comfort. It is forged in the moments when I feel most vulnerable. And I feel that now. I have obeyed. I have let go. And yet the reward has not arrived. The answer has not come. The pain has not lifted. And in this in-between space, it is tempting to take it all back, to rebuild the walls I just tore down. But something deeper in me knows that trust that only lasts when things feel good is not trust at all. It is dependency on outcomes, not on you. So I bring you my trembling faith, the kind that believes while it weeps, the kind that says, I trust you. With a voice that shakes, I won't pretend to be stronger than I am. I won't try to skip past the H. I will sit here with you in it, believing that you see every crack in my soul and call it beautiful. Not broken. That you are not disappointed in my weakness. You draw near to it. You hold me when I can hold it together. You honor trust that costs something. Lord, I know you could change things in a breath. I know you could restore, replace, redeem in an instant. And maybe you will. But even if you do not yet, not today, I still choose you. Not because it is easy, but because you are worthy. Not because I feel strong, but because you are steady. I do not need proof to believe in your goodness. I have history. I have memories of moments when I did not understand, but you came through. I have scars that prove you never left me. Still, the H is real. The questions are real. The silence feels heavy. And I pretend that this trust does not come at a cost. I feel the stretch of it, the tension of staying surrendered when I would rather see results. I feel the strain of believing when doubt whispers loudly. But I choose to stay here, in the discomfort, because I know you are working beneath the surface. I know that roots grow deeper in darkness. I know that faith, real faith, grows strong in the soil of unanswered prayers. God, remind me that this pain has purpose, that you are not ignoring me, you are forming me, that the silence is not punishment, is a space for deeper communion. A space where I learn that your presence is the promise, that you yourself are the reward. Let this trust transform me. Let it strip away what was shallow. Let it purify what was divided. Let it make me into someone who follows you not just for what you give, but for who you are. Teach me how to rest here, even when resting feels like surrendering control. Teach me how to breathe through the tension, to stop measuring the weight by human time, and start seeing it through the lens of eternity. You are not late. You are not unaware. You are near, even when I cannot feel it. And that truth, whispered in this quiet space, is enough to keep me holding on, even if all I have left is a mustard seed of faith. You say it is enough, so I will hold on, not with clenched fists, but with open palms. I will let the tears fall, not as a sign of failure, but as evidence that I am human and still choosing you. I will walk through this valley with questions I cannot answer and a peace I cannot explain. Because, somehow, even in the pain, there is a strange comfort in knowing you are shaping something eternal in me, something that cannot be undone by circumstance or shaken by delay. Let this be the kind of trust that deepens in the dark, the kind that worships through wounds, the kind that chooses faith over fear even when both are screaming. I do not need to see the end to believe you are guiding every step. I do not need to feel strong to keep walking. I just need to stay close to you. That is enough. That has always been enough. You are the steady one, the faithful one, the God who holds when everything else is uncertain. And when I wake up tomorrow and still feel the H, remind me that trust is a decision I get to make again and again. It is not a one-time act. It is a daily surrender, a quiet yes in the middle of noise, a steady hand reaching out even when I cannot see what lies ahead. Let each day bring another layer of trust, deeper than the last, stronger than before, rooted in love that does not shift. Father, if this is where I become unshakable, then let it be. If this is where real faith takes root, then I will stay here as long as you ask. I will not despise the process. I will not rush the pain. I will let you build something in me that can stand when everything else falls. Something that is not dependent on comfort, but on conviction. Not grounded in certainty, but in communion. This kind of trust may cost me my sense of control, my plans, my timelines, but what I receive in return is you. And there is no greater treasure than that. So even when it hurts, even when I do not understand, I will lean into you. I will let you carry the questions. I will give you my aching yes, and I will keep walking forward not because I have the strength, but because you are enough to sustain me when I do not. Father, as I keep walking through this path of quiet trust, I feel as though I am still surrounded by mist. The ache of letting go lingers, and the weight of waiting still presses down gently on my shoulders. But even here, in this space where answers have yet to unfold, I sense different kind of movement happening inside me. Not the dramatic clarity I used to crave, but something subtler, a slow lifting of fog, a still, unfolding light, and with it, the realization that you have been guiding me all along. Even when I could not see the road beneath my feet. Lord, I used to believe that clarity meant certainty, that knowing where I was going would bring peace. But now I am beginning to understand that real clarity comes not from having every detail figured out, but from knowing who is leading me. You. My vision may be limited, but yours never is. My understanding may be small, but you see it all past, present, and every step ahead. That knowledge anchors me, even as I stand in the middle of the unknown. God, I do not need the whole picture anymore. I do not need a step-by-step explanation. I just need to trust the one who walks beside me. I need to remember that even the fog is not a barrier for you, that even when things appear uncertain, you are not confused, that your wisdom is not diminished by my limited view. You are not waiting for me to figure everything out. You are simply asking me to follow, to take the next step, even when the path is faint. Still, Father, you know how often I have begged for clarity, how I have searched for signs, prayed for answers, longed for direction that felt obvious and unshakable. But what you have been offering is something better. You have been offering yourself, and through you, I am learning to see differently, not with the eyes of fear or pressure or timelines, but with a quiet gaze rooted in faith. You are refining my vision. You are helping me see that peace is not found in the absence of fog, but in the presence of trust. Even now, the uncertainty has not disappeared, but the fear within it is fading. The anxiety that used to rise when I could not see the end has started to dissolve, because step by step, I have experienced your nearness in every pause, in every tear, in every moment when I felt like I was wandering alone. You were near, not shouting over the unknown, but standing in it with me, calm and sure. And somehow, that changes everything. Lord, help me to walk with eyes of the Spirit and not of the flesh. Help me to stop relying on what I can measure or plan or control. Let my confidence be built on your character, not on my circumstances. Let my discernment come not from frantic guessing, but from gentle listening. Let my heart rest, even when my mind does not understand. You are not a God of confusion. You are a God of presence, of peace, of quiet direction that never misleads. You do not always light the entire road, but you always light enough for the next step. And maybe that is all I truly need. Maybe I do not need to know the destination yet. Maybe I do not need the full blueprint. Maybe clarity is not about knowing where, but knowing who. And I know you. I may not know what tomorrow holds, but I know the one who holds it. That truth calms me more than any plan ever could. And Lord, when the fog feels thick again, and I know there will be moments when it does remind me of this quiet knowing, remind me that what feels unclear to me is already known to you. That just because the path looks blurry does not mean is wrong. That just because I can see far does not mean I have lost direction. Help me to pause when I feel pressure, to wait instead of react, to lean in instead of pull away. Let the fog draw me closer to your voice. Sometimes the most beautiful things grow in hidden places. Sometimes the clearest wisdom is born in the dark, when everything else fades and only you remain. I want to be someone who does not panic in the unknown, but who leans into the quiet, who welcomes the stillness, who listens for your footsteps even when I can trace them. I want to see what you see, feel what you feel, and walk the way you walk, slow, certain, guided by eternal light. You are the lamp to my feet, not the spotlight to my horizon. And that is enough. Let me be content with enough light for today, enough grace for this moment, enough peace for this breath. I do not need a guarantee. I need to keep saying yes. Right here. Right now. Let that be my rhythm. Let that be my strength. Let that be my clarity, not a vision of what is coming, but a confidence in who walks with me. God, as I take this next small step, I do so with quiet faith. Not flashy, not loud, but real. The kind that chooses you in the silence. The kind that trusts you in the fog. The kind that believes you are working behind the scenes, stitching beauty into places I have not yet seen. I do not have to rush anymore. I do not have to grasp. I just have to remain close. Stay soft. Keep listening. If I stray, bring me back gently. If I freeze, whisper until I move again. If I doubt, remind me of all the times you led me through what once seemed impassable. You are not only the God of the clear road. You are the God who walks through the clouds with me, who turns questions into communion, who brings revelation not by removing the fog, but by being the light within it. So let this be the kind of clarity I seek, not a perfect understanding, but a heart perfectly tuned to yours, not flawless vision, but faithful dependence, not certainty about the outcome, but full assurance of your character. That is the clarity I choose today, not the world's version, yours, and in that space, I will walk forward not by sight, but by the quiet confidence that you are already where I am going. And that is more than enough. Father, now that I have found a kind of clarity in the fog, clarity, not through sight, but through surrender, I sense you inviting me into something deeper, not just into seeing differently, but into speaking differently, into living in alignment with what you have shown me, and saying yes with more than my thoughts or even my actions, but with my very words. I feel you teaching me, slowly and gently, that agreement with you is not silent. It is a language I must learn to speak again, not from habit, but from the heart. Lord, I have spent so long letting fear narrate my story. I have given space to doubt and disappointment. I have allowed hesitation to speak louder than hope. And yet you are showing me that words hold weight, that what I agree with internally and externally shapes not only my mindset, but my movement. And I do not want to align myself with anything that contradicts your voice. I do not want my mouth to echo what my spirit no longer believes. Teach me to speak with you, not just about you, to declare what is true, even when it stretches me. God, show me how to speak the language of agreement in every area of my life. Let it shape the way I respond to uncertainty. Let it influence how I speak to myself in the mirror. Let it rewrite the narratives I have lived under for far too long. I no longer want to agree with shame or scarcity or anything that tells me I am less than what you have created me to be. I want to agree with grace, with hope, with healing, with the reality of your presence, even in my most broken moments. You have called me beloved. Let that be the word I echo. You have called me chosen. Let me speak it, not as wishful thinking, but as truth. You have said I am forgiven, that I am being transformed, that I am never alone. Let those be the phrases that form the foundation of how I think and what I say. Let me not repeat the lies that once kept me silent. Let my inner dialogue match the freedom you have given me. Let me become fluent in your faithfulness. Father, sometimes agreement feels quiet. It is in the whispered yes when no one else hears. It is in the simple obedience of getting up again when giving up feels easier. It is in the decision to believe you even when my emotions pull in the opposite direction. I want to speak the yes, not just with my lips, but with my living, with how I love, with how I forgive, with how I show up for others and how I show up for myself. Let my life be one long yes to you, even in pain. Lord, teach me to agree with truth, not to deny the H, but to declare that pain does not have the final word. Teach me to agree with purpose even when I feel unseen. Teach me to say yes to the quiet assignments, the ones that do not earn applause, but build character. Teach me to agree with process, even when I would rather skip to the end. There is beauty in the becoming, and I do not want to miss it just because I am uncomfortable. God, if there are words I have spoken over myself that have placed limits where you meant freedom, bring them to light. If I have made agreements with insecurity, or hopelessness, or fear, break those patterns now. I want my words to carry life. I want my inner world to reflect what you are doing in my spirit. I want to speak in a way that invites more of you, not more of what once kept me bound. Let me choose language that heals. Let me speak what aligns with heaven, not what echoes the chaos of earth. Let agreement become my rhythm. In the morning, let my first breath say yes. In the tension of midday, let my quiet thoughts agree with your patience and wisdom. In the stillness of evening, let my gratitude be a final offering. Even when I do not feel strong, I can still say yes. Even when I feel unsure, I can still agree with what I know about who you are. You are not asking for perfection. You are asking for alignment. And alignment begins with the smallest shift, a heart that leans toward trust and a mouth that reflects it. Father, there are areas where I am still learning to speak this language. Sometimes I revert. Sometimes I speak from old wounds instead of present healing. But I know you are patient. I know you walk with me even when I stumble over my own words. Help me notice when my speech is out of sync what you are doing in me. Help me pause, reflect, realign. Let even my repentance be a form of agreement, not shame, but surrender, a return to what is true, again and again. Lord, when the world tries to hand me its vocabulary words laced with fear, urgency, division, help me resist. Let my voice sound different, not because I am trying to impress, but because I have been with you. Let others hear peace in my tone, hope in my phrasing, courage in my confessions. Let my voice be a witness to the slow, sacred work you are doing inside me. Let it be filled with kindness. Let it lift burdens, not add to them. Let it reflect the language of heaven, even in earthly moments. You are the Word made flesh, the one who speaks and stars form, who breathes and life begins. And because I am made in your image, my words carry weight too. I do not want to waste them. I do not want to weaponize them. I want to use them to build, to bless, to align. Let the overflow of my heart reveal a life rooted in you. Let what I say be shaped by what you have said. Let every yes draw me deeper into your presence, and every no close the door on anything that distracts me from it. So today, Father, I choose to speak in harmony with you. I choose to believe again, to hope again, to declare good things. Even when circumstances still look unfinished, I choose to say yes with my voice, my choices, and my presence. Not just once, but every time I am given the opportunity to agree, with light instead of shadow, with grace instead of fear, with you, always, because every time I say yes to you, something holy rises inside me and I remember again who I truly am. Lord, as I continue this unfolding conversation with you, my heart feels drawn to the gentle rhythm of your steps. After learning to say yes with my words, I realize there is a deeper yes. You are calling me into a yes that lives in how I move through the day, how I walk through the unknown, how I keep pace with you when everything around me screams for urgency. It is in this stillness that I notice you never rush, you never panic. You simply walk with intention and invite me to do the same. God, I confess that too often I let the pressure of time drive me. I chase deadlines, expectations, outcomes, forgetting that you do not live under the tyranny of clocks or calendars. You are timeless, yet never late. You do not measure my worth by my productivity, and you do not weigh my obedience by how fast I finish what you started in me. Instead, you whisper reminders that trust looks like walking one foot after another, slow if needed, steady always. Father, when I try to outrun my own growth, when I rush into decisions without discernment or fill silence with noise, would you gently call me back to the pace of grace, where roots grow deep before fruit is seen, back to the walk that listens instead of hurrying to speak, back to the moment where peace is not something I must search for, but something I discover when I finally slow down enough to notice it has been here all along. You never scold me for walking slowly. You are not disappointed in my pauses. You do not withdraw when I need to rest. Instead, you offer your presence in the middle of my pace. Whatever that may be, you match me, not to enable complacency, but to offer companionship. And in that companionship, I realize what matters most is not how far I go today, but that I do not walk alone. Lord, when I feel behind, remind me that there is no behind in your timeline. When others seem to be farther along or moving faster, help me not to compare. Teach me to bless their journey while honoring mine. When I am tempted to strive for speed over substance, teach me again that depth is developed slowly, that transformation is rarely visible at first, that walking with you, even when progress is invisible, is never wasted time. God, I have come to see that speed can sometimes be a disguise for fear, that if I do not hurry, I will miss something. But with you, there is no missing what is meant for me. You hold the door open. You wait with patience. You lead me forward, not with a whip, but with a whisper. Your timing is always layered with kindness, and I want to walk in sync with that kindness, not constantly feeling breathless and burdened. Help me walk with wonder again. Let the wind against my face feel like an invitation, not a warning. Let each sunrise remind me that today is not a race to win, but a gift to open. Let me notice the texture of moments instead of rushing past them. Let me delight in the in-between, the ordinary, the overlooked. You walked among us, unhurried, present, full of compassion. I want to walk like that too. Father, walking at your pace means I must let go of the illusion of control. It means choosing surrender over certainty. It means listening when I would rather act and trusting when answers do not come fast. It means resting before I feel like I have earned it. And it means staying rooted in truth, not in performance. So slow me down, not just in my schedule, but in my soul. Quiet the internal clock that counts down accomplishments and awaken in me the awareness to move with meaning. Let me walk with humility, not trying to prove, but willing to learn. Let me walk with patience, not needing immediate resolution, but trusting the process. Let me walk with grace, allowing room for mistakes and course corrections. Let me walk with joy, not based on outcomes, but on the beauty of being with you. Let me walk with courage, not needing a map for every step, but knowing you are the one guiding each one. When my mind races ahead to future worries, bring me back to now. When regret tries to pull me backward, anchor me in the present. When the road feels unclear, let your presence be my clarity. I do not need to know the whole path if I can hear your voice for the next step. And if today's step is stillness, help me not to see it as delay, but as preparation. Sometimes the pause is sacred ground, the silence full of instruction, the stillness the very place where strength is renewed. Lord, help me find peace in your rhythm, not in striving, not in rushing, but in responding. Let obedience replace anxiety. Let discernment replace urgency. Let intention replace impulse. Let me move because I am led, not because I am pressured. Let every step I take declare trust, not trust in my own timing or strategy, but in your unwavering presence beside me. You are the shepherd who walks with his sheep. You do not push from behind. You lead from the front, and when I wander, you do not abandon. You come to find me, gently lifting me back into step, never shaming me for the detour. What kind of love is this that matches my every pace? Even when it falters, what kind of grace that never demands more than I can carry, but walks with me through valleys and up hills, celebrating not how fast I go, but that I go with you. So today, Father, I walk not to impress, not to prove, not to earn, but to be in your presence, to be in motion with you, to be available to what unfolds. I walk with my eyes open, my ears tuned to your whispers, my heart soft enough to notice when you pause to show me something along the way. I walk knowing that progress is not always about distance, but about direction. And as long as I am moving toward you, I am not lost. I am exactly where I am meant to be. Father, now that I am learning to walk at your pace, a quieter question begins to rise within me, not about where we are going, but about why the road sometimes turns where I least expect it. And in that sacred uncertainty, I bring you the part of me that still struggles to trust when things do not make sense. I want to believe that every twist in the path is held in your hands. Even when my eyes see nothing but shadows ahead, God, help me trust you when the doors I prayed for remain closed, when the answers I long for are delayed or different from what I imagined. Steady my heart with the assurance that you are not withholding goodness from me, but preparing something I cannot yet comprehend. Remind me that your silence is not absence, that your no is never cruelty, and that your detours are often divine redirections, born out of love too deep for me to measure. There are mornings, Lord, when I wake up feeling more questions than peace, more confusion than clarity, and instead of hiding that, I bring it into the light of this moment with you, because I know you are not afraid of my doubts. You do not turn away from my wrestling. You meet me in it, just as you met those before me who dared to bring you their uncertainty and still kept walking. You did not require perfect understanding, only an open heart. When I feel the ache of not knowing why certain things had to happen the way they did, when grief lingers without resolution and disappointment comes dressed as delay, let me choose to trust your character even when I can trace your hand. Let me remember that you are still good, still wise, still present. And though I cannot predict how this story unfolds, I can lean into the truth that you are writing it with care. Lord, sometimes I want to skip the middle, avoid the wilderness, and fast forward to resolution. But you teach me that sacred things happen in the waiting, that patience is not a punishment, but a posture of hope, that faith is forged not in the answers, but in the questions that remain unanswered. So instead of demanding to understand everything, help me rest in the peace that surpasses understanding, the peace that does not require an explanation to feel real. You are not just the God of the mountaintops, but also of the valleys. You walk with me in the in-between, when the scenery around me feels uncertain and the future unclear. And you remind me gently that faith is not the absence of confusion, but the courage to trust in spite of it, That trust does not mean I have to pretend I am never afraid. It means I believe you are still with me, even when I am. Father, teach me to surrender the part of me that craves certainty more than closeness with you. Help me resist the urge to figure everything out before I move. Let my faith be marked not by flawless logic, but by a willingness to follow you when logic falls silent. Let my trust be deeper than my need for control. Let me yield my desire to always understand, and in that surrender, find a freedom I never expected. You never promised that the road would be clear, only that you would be near. You never said I would understand everything, but you did promise that I could walk in peace if I fixed my eyes on you. And so today, I choose to lift my gaze not to the circumstances I cannot decipher, but to the one who holds the wisdom of eternity. I choose to believe that even this confusion is known by you, and that nothing I walk through is wasted in your hands. God, when people around me move on while I am still in the dark, help me not to compare. When others seem to thrive in seasons I am merely surviving, let me not grow bitter. Instead, help me celebrate their clarity while honoring my clouded path. You are doing something in me here, in this fog, in this slowness, in this space where I do not yet know the why. And maybe it is here that I will finally learn to love you without conditions. Let this be the place where trust deepens, not because the outcome is revealed, but because I see more of you. Let it be the place where my roots sink deeper into your faithfulness, even when my branches feel bare. Let it be the place where I discover that mystery is not your absence, but your invitation to come closer, to ask boldly, and to wait with open hands rather than clenched fists. Father, I know you do not rush me out of my questions. You sit with me in them. You do not shame my wondering. You shape it into wisdom. Over time, and I know now that some answers only unfold after the obedience, after the journey, after the trust. So help me walk forward even when my steps feel unsure. Help me trust that each day, even this one, is part of the unfolding grace you have written for me. When I feel the tension of not knowing, let it become the thread that ties me closer to you. Let me stop chasing clarity and start chasing you. Let me rest in the knowledge that I am not responsible for understanding everything, only for staying close to the one who does. And in that closeness, may I be transformed not by what I learn, but by who I lean on, God. I release my need to know the end from the beginning. I release the belief that I must have it all figured out before I can feel at peace. You are the Alpha and the Omega. You see it all, hold it all, and you are not anxious about any of it. So I place my fragile questions in your eternal hands. I trust that you will reveal what I need to know when I need to know it. And until then, I will walk with you, listen to you, lean on you. Let this season, however uncertain, be the training ground of trust. Let it refine my heart, shape my character, and deepen my intimacy with you. Let it be the chapter where I do not rush ahead, but walk step by step into the unknown, with confidence not in my foresight, but in your faithfulness. Even when I do not understand, I can still choose to believe. Even when the road feels unfamiliar, I can still hold tightly to your hand. And even when I do not have the answers, I have you, and that is more than enough for today. Lord, as I continue to walk through this unfolding morning, I feel the soft echo of your nearness that has carried me through the quiet moments before. The stillness behind me is not empty, but filled with traces of your guidance, like dew left on the grass after a whispering night. And now, stepping further into the days unknown, I do not ask for certainty, I ask for the courage to move through uncertainty with you at my side. I know you never promised a path without thorns, only that you would walk with me through every valley and over every ridge, never letting go. So, Father, when I stretch my hands forward into plans I cannot yet see clearly, anchor me in trust. Wrap my doubts in your assurance. Let me not wait for clarity to obey, but let my obedience be the beginning of clarity. Let me not search for control, but embrace the grace in not knowing. In those moments where my human nature wants to map every step, draw every line, let me instead look up, not down. Let me see not just what is ahead, but who is with me. God, I bring you every part of today that is unresolved, the conversations I fear, the tasks that overwhelm, the decisions that carry more weight than I feel prepared to bear. I do not pretend to have all the answers. I only have this moment, and in this moment, I choose you. I choose to surrender the need for perfection. And instead, I ask for peace. I lay down the impulse to perform and pick up the gift of presence. I do not want to rush past what you might be doing in the delays, the interruptions, even in the silence. Teach me to trust what you are doing and what I cannot yet understand. Lord, let this day not be about proving myself, but discovering more of who you are. Let me find your fingerprints not only in the triumphs, but also in the tension when the road bends. Let me not assume I am lost. Let me remember that you often lead by unfamiliar ways. When doors do not open, let me not assume rejection. Let me look for redirection. When people disappoint me, remind me that my hope was never meant to rest in flesh and blood, but in the eternal spirit that cannot be shaken. Father, help me to bless those who do not see me, to serve even when unnoticed, to forgive when unasked. Teach me the strength of invisible obedience. Let humility not be a burden, but a beautiful covering. Strip away the pride that disguises itself as strength and replace it with the quiet power of grace. Give me wisdom to speak when you lead me, and the wisdom to remain silent when you are still working in unseen ways. There are pieces of my heart I have tried to protect from you, even though you already know them. Today, I invite you into the fears I do not say aloud, into the griefs I have tried to minimize, into the longings I have buried because they felt too fragile to hold. Lord, hold them. I do not want to build walls against the very healing I cry out for. Let today be the day I trust you with my full truth, the whole, messy, unfinished story. Not the polished version, not the edited highlight reel, but the real, raw places where light has not yet reached. God, renew my mind in this morning hour. Let the narrative of lack be replaced with your abundance. Let every what if be answered by even if. Let the soundtrack of my thoughts not be anxiety, but assurance, not panic. but peace. Teach me to take every thought captive and surrender it to you, and to believe that I am not at the mercy of my emotions. I am held by a merciful God. I ask that you help me steward my attention well, to guard what I consume and what I allow to take root in my thinking. Let your truth be louder than the noise. Father, even when I feel unprepared, remind me that you go before me. You are already present in the rooms I will walk into, already working in the hearts I will encounter. Let me not fear what has not happened. Let me not relive yesterday's wounds. Let me be here, fully here, with you, in this breath, in this moment, because this moment is sacred. It is not an accident. It is a gift. Help me not to idolize productivity. Let my worth today not be defined by checklists, but by the unshakable reality that I am your child. Whether I succeed or stumble, you do not flinch in your love for me. If I accomplish much or little, your heart toward me remains unchanged. And if I get nothing else right today, let me get this one thing right. To stay connected to you, to lean in instead of pushing away, to return again and again, no matter how many times I lose my footing. Lord, may I meet others today not with judgment but with mercy. Let my first response be compassion. Let my words be slower and softer, and my spirit quicker to listen. Teach me to honor the stories I do not know, to extend kindness without requiring understanding, and to give the benefit of the doubt when it is hardest. I want to be a reflection of the grace you have lavished on me, not a gatekeeper of it. And in everything, big or small, joyful or difficult, let my first instinct be to turn to you, not as a last resort, but as the lifeline you have always been. Let prayer not be my backup plan, but my breathing space. Let this rhythm of conversation continue, not a monologue, not a checklist, but a quiet communion, like walking beside a trusted friend. God, thank you for the holy invitation to begin this day with you. Thank you for being near. Thank you for not demanding performance, but offering presence. Thank you for holding me when I feel too weak to hold on. And thank you for being the kind of father who stays not just in the highlight moments, but in the in-between ones, the overlooked hours, the unspectacular scenes of everyday faithfulness. That is where you dwell. That is where I want to be. Lord, as I continue to rest in the rhythm of your unfolding grace, I realize how much of life is held together by threads I cannot see, shaped by hands I cannot touch, yet sustained by a presence I constantly feel. The more I walk with you, the more I learn to trust what I cannot fully comprehend. In the silence between one breath and the next, you are weaving something eternal. Even when the moments feel fleeting or insignificant, you are not absent in the stillness. You are not distant in the quiet. You are as close as the rise and fall of my chest, as constant as the beating of my heart. God, how often I try to see the full picture before I take the next step. How often I wait for clarity before I move forward. And yet, you have never required perfect vision from me, only faithful obedience. You do not call me to figure it all out, but simply to follow where you lead. I do not have to know every twist in the road when I know one that who formed the road walks beside me. Your footsteps leave peace in their wake, and even when I tremble, your presence steadies me. I surrender the pressure to predict, control, or understand every detail, and instead I lean into the mystery with a trusting heart. Father, help me today to embrace the unseen. Help me believe that what is hidden is not forgotten, and what is delayed is not denied. Remind me that just because I can't yet see the answer does not mean you are not already moving. Just because the doors remain closed now does not mean you want to open the right one at the perfect time. I may not feel progress, but faith tells me that even in the waiting, you are working. I rest in that assurance now, not because I see the outcome, but because I know your nature. You are faithful. You are constant. You are love in motion, even when the road seems still. There is a gentle courage that comes with trusting you blindly. It is not loud. It does not demand attention, but it is rooted deeply, anchored firmly, and it keeps me grounded when storms rise. Lord, grow that kind of courage in me, the quiet, stubborn faith that does not flinch at delay, that does not waver in the dark, that does not unravel when answers do not come quickly. Let my soul whisper yes to you even when I do not know what comes next. Let my spirit yield to the unknown, because I know who holds it. I choose today to see through the eyes of faith, to see beauty before it blooms, to see hope before it is fulfilled, to see healing even when scars still ache. And in doing so, I partner with you in the unseen, believing with my spirit what my eyes have yet to witness. This is the essence of trust, not needing proof, but finding peace in your promise, not demanding signs, but drawing strength from your presence. I open my hands again, unclenching my grip on the plans I once held so tightly. I give them back to you, knowing you shape far better futures than I could ever design. Father, I thank you for the moments that did not make sense at the time, but now reveal hidden mercy. Thank you for the detours that brought protection, for the delays that matured me, for the silence that deepened my dependence. You do not waste any season, even in what I once called barren. You were cultivating roots, even in what I labeled as loss. You are making room for what is next. Today, I shift my lens and look again with eyes washed in faith, with perspective soaked in gratitude. God, walk with me through this day with a trust that anchors me. Let me move not from fear, but from confidence in you. Let my responses be shaped by quiet trust instead of frantic effort. Help me to pause and seek you instead of rushing ahead. Help me to remember that trusting you does not mean passivity, but peace-filled action. I move forward because you are with me, not because I have it all figured out. I act in alignment with your voice, not in anxiety over the unknown. Keep my steps steady in your wisdom, and when doubts creep in, because they will meet them with your truth. When worry tries to whisper louder than your promises, help me turn the volume down on fear and turn my heart back toward what you have spoken. When impatience threatens to unravel my peace, center me again in your perfect timing. I do not want to just believe when it is easy. I want to believe when it is hard, when the answers feel far, when the night is long, when nothing changes yet you remain the same. This is where real trust is forged. Lord, I trust you not only with what I understand, but with all that I do not. I give you my questions, not just my answers. I give you my confusion, not just my confidence. Because you can handle it all. You are the safe place for my uncertainties. You are the steady presence when everything else shifts. And though I walk by faith and not by sight, you never ask me to walk alone. Your hand is always extended. Your voice is always near. Your love is always certain. As the sun rises slowly and bathes the earth in light, let that be the reminder I carry with me that even when I cannot see the whole sky, the dawn is still coming. Even when clouds gather, the sun has not ceased to shine. So it is with you, God. You are the light that never dims, the anchor that never fails, the thread that holds all things together. I may not always see the tapestry you are weaving, but I trust the hands that weave it. I trust the pattern that is unfolding. I trust the purpose you are shaping in me through every moment of surrender. And so I step into this day not with answers, but with trust, not with certainty, but with faith, not with control, but with surrender. And that is enough, because you are enough. Father, as I settle deeper into this unfolding morning, my soul remains anchored in the quiet trust we began with. Just as I whispered yesterday's surrender into your hands, I return again today not because I waver, but because each morning invites me into a deeper layer of stillness with you. The kind of stillness that is not the absence of motion, but the presence of unshakable peace. The kind that silences noise not by muting life, by tuning my spirit to hear your whisper above the roar of everything else. Lord, it is in this quiet that I recognize how much I long to be centered not in my plans, not in the praise of people, not even in fleeting success, but in you alone. For everything else fades, everything else shifts, but you remain the same, unwavering and unchanging. My circumstances may move like tides, my feelings may rise and fall like winds, but your truth is the rock beneath my feet, and in that truth, I find a stillness that cannot be broken. God, remind me again that stillness is not weakness, that waiting is not wasting, that choosing to pause in your presence is one of the most powerful decisions I can make. I do not need to fill every silence with action, every space with words, or every unknown with answers. What I need most is to abide, to be fully present with you in this moment, not chasing what is ahead, not rehearsing what is behind. Just here, just now, just you and me. Father, when I am tempted to rush ahead, slow me when the world demands urgency. Anchor me in patience. Teach me to live from a heart that beats in rhythm with yours, not with the pressure of deadlines or the fear of falling behind. Let this day not be marked by my striving, but by my surrender. Let my peace not come from accomplishment, but from communion. And let every breath be a reminder that I do not need to prove anything to be loved. I already am. Lord, in this space of sacred stillness, open my ears to the truths I so easily miss when I am distracted. Remind me that being still is not doing nothing, it is doing the holy work of listening. And in the listening, I find clarity. In the stillness, I discover direction. In the quiet, I receive wisdom not born from logic, but from love. Let my heart lean in until it hears not just what you are saying, but what you are whispering, those gentle truths that only surface when the waters of my soul are calm. God, I give you permission to interrupt me today, not with chaos, but with clarity, not with noise, but with nudges. If I stray from peace, gently guide me back. If I forget my worth, speak it again. If I grow anxious, draw me into the calm of your presence. I do not want to move faster than grace. I do not want to live louder than love. I want to carry stillness with me, like a lamp lighting my steps, not with urgency, but with certainty that you are near. Father, stillness does not always come easily to me. The world prizes speed and noise and constant progress. But you invite me into rhythms that are slower, deeper, richer, rhythms that do not leave me empty, but fill me from within. Teach me to honor those rhythms, to honor the pauses, to embrace the sacred value of rest, not just sleep, but true soul rest, rest that comes not from absence of activity, but from alignment with you. Lord, if my schedule grows full, let my spirit remain spacious. Let me never be too busy to be kind, too hurried to be present, too consumed to notice the needs around me. Let me live at a pace where love can flourish, where joy has room to breathe, and where peace is not a luxury, but a lifestyle. Slow me to the speed of grace. Teach me the rhythm of heaven. And God, in moments when the stillness feels lonely, when silence feels like absence, remind me again that you are here, that your nearness is not measured by noise or activity, but by the quiet confidence that you never leave. Even in the silence, you are speaking. Even in the pause, you are present. Even when nothing moves, you are still working. This is the trust that anchors my soul. Father, I want to live this day with an unhurried heart, to speak words that are thoughtful, to act with intention, to love without agenda, to listen without interrupting, to notice beauty in ordinary places and see sacredness in simple moments. Let me be a reflection of stillness in a restless world, not passive, but peace-filled. Not withdrawn, but deeply grounded. Let this stillness guide my decisions today. When I must speak, let my words rise from calm, not chaos. When I must act, let my steps move from wisdom, not worry. When I must wait, let my posture be trust, not tension. And in all things, let me remain rooted in the gentle strength of stillness, a strength that does not shout, but shapes the world in quiet ways. Lord, thank you for the quiet places you have carved into my day, for the sacred pauses that reset my soul, for the invitation to breathe deep and come back to the center. Help me to carry this stillness with me, not just in prayer, but in traffic, in conversation, in conflict, in joy. Let it spill over into every space I enter. Let it soften my responses, steady my emotions, and anchor me in grace. And when the day begins to pull me in 1,000 directions, draw me back to this moment, to this peace, to this sacred stillness where you are. Let that be the thread that weaves through all I do today, the awareness of your presence and the echo of this quiet beginning. Here in the morning, I found you again, not in a dramatic sign, but in the simple quiet, in the breath between words, in the heartbeat of grace. And that is enough to carry me forward. Lord, as the stillness of your presence lingers from the moments before. I feel it cascading gently into the corners of my mind. The peace you sowed in the silence is now flowing into my thoughts, filtering through my reflections, shaping the way I see and process everything around me. And I ask, let that peace not remain only as a soft emotion, but as a guard around my thoughts, a shield against chaos, a guide through confusion, a light through fog, because even in the calmest days, my mind can race, drift, or spiral. But with you, it can rest, it can focus, it can heal. Father, I offer you the terrain of my mind this morning, not just the surface thoughts I acknowledge, but the deep undercurrents I rarely bring into light. Search every hidden place. Dispel the shadows that have settled in unnoticed. Uproot the assumptions I have held onto too tightly. Untangle the lies I have mistaken for truth. Replace them with what is eternal, unshakable, and good. Let your truth settle into the soil of my thinking, so that everything I believe, everything I assume, and everything I anticipate today is aligned with your love. God, my mind is a battlefield some days. Thoughts rise uninvited. Worries parade through without resistance, and old fears creep back dressed as logic. But you are not a God of confusion. You are not the author of dread. You are the keeper of clarity, the architect of soundness, the giver of wisdom that calms storms, not just outside, but within. So today, place a guard at the gates of my mind. Let nothing enter that does not echo your peace. Let no voice grow louder than yours. Lord, train my thoughts to obey the rhythm of truth. Let me not entertain what is harmful, divisive, or diminishing. Let me not dwell on what could go wrong, but on what you make right. If I must rehearse anything in my head, let it be gratitude. If I must linger on a thought, let it be hope. Let me think on things that are noble, lovely, pure, and worthy of praise, not because I am naive to pain, but because I am rooted in promise. Because I know what surrounds me may be uncertain, but what sustains me is forever. Father, I ask that you transform the way I think, not just the outcomes of my thoughts, but the patterns that shape them. Rewire the loops of anxiety that replay scenes of what-ifs. Quiet the inner critic that speaks in absolutes. Heal the memories that distort my present with wounds of the past. Fill the gaps with truth so that what remains is whole. Renew my mind not for escape, but for endurance, not to forget, but to see from a place of healing. And Lord, when thoughts come that carry weight, help me discern which burdens are mine to carry, and which ones I was never meant to hold. Some thoughts wear the disguise of responsibility, but are really fear. Some sound like preparation, but are rooted in panic. Help me name them rightly and release them quickly. Let me not wrestle with shadows. Let me not exhaust myself fighting battles in my mind that you have already won in the spirit. Let peace be my starting point, not my destination. God, I know how easily distractions pull at me. The unfinished conversations, the future that has not arrived, the digital noise that crowds my still moments. But today, I choose focus. I choose clarity. I choose to be present in this moment, not in a hurried way, but in a holy one. Help me to give my attention fully to what is in front of me. Help me to listen with undivided presence, to speak with thoughtful care, to respond with intention. Let my mind not be scattered, but centered, not overstimulated, but still. Lord, shape my mental posture so that even in the middle of responsibility, I carry it lightly. Teach me to think in ways that reflect trust, not tension. Let me respond to challenges not from fear of failing, but from faith that you are in it with me. And when I feel overwhelmed, let my thoughts not spiral into hopelessness, but settle into surrender, into the quiet confidence that you will carry what I cannot, and you will lead me through. Father, I also ask that you teach me how to guard my mind with gentleness, not defensiveness, not denial, but discernment. Help me know what to let in and what to leave out, what to meditate on and what to move past. Let the filter of peace be ever present, letting in only what feeds truth, strengthens hope, and aligns with love when criticism comes. Help me hear what is helpful and release what is harmful. When opinions flood in, let your voice rise above the rest, not always louder, but always clearer. And God, thank you for the gift of thought itself, for a mind that can imagine, understand, reflect, create. Help me use that gift well today. Let my imagination serve compassion. Let my understanding pursue wisdom. Let my creativity build bridges and beauty. Let every part of my thinking be a tool for good. Let no thought be wasted, no mental energy squandered, but directed like an arrow toward love and light. Lord, when I speak today, may my words echo the peace in my mind. Let them not be reactions but responses. Let them not be weapons but salve. Let them build rather than bruise, heal rather than wound. Let every sentence I form flow from a mind steady in you. When I write, when I plan, when I dream, let all be anchored in your truth and anointed with your peace. Let even my internal dialogue reflect your kindness and not my fear. Father, I know there will be moments where my mind may drift, where old worries try to creep back in, where noise returns. But even then, remind me that I can come back to this place, back to this quiet, back to this anchoring prayer. I can breathe again and reset. I can remember again what is true. I can take every thought captive and surrender it to you, because you are not just the God of my circumstances. You are the God of my inner life, and you care about what I think, what I dwell on, what I rehearse in the silence. So as I go through this day, let the peace of God guard my mind like a fortress. Let it be the unseen strength behind every calm response. Let it be the reason my reactions are gentle, my ideas are clear, my decisions are wise. Let that peace not be something I chase, but something I carry woven into the fabric of every thought. And as my thoughts shape my words, and my words shape my world, may it all point back to the one who shaped me first. Lord, as your peace continues to settle in my thoughts and steady my inner world, I feel you nudging me to walk forward, not only in calmness but in wisdom. Let the clarity you have provided in stillness now guide me through the choices I will face today. I know that each decision, no matter how small, shapes my path and influences the lives around me. So I come to you asking not for answers dropped into my lap, but for discernment woven into my steps. Give me eyes to see beyond appearances, ears to hear what is not spoken, and a heart attuned to what is right, not merely convenient. Father, it is easy to be pulled by urgency or swayed by pressure, especially in a world that moves fast and expects faster. But I do not want to live reactionary. I want to live responsive to you. Teach me to pause long enough to listen, to slow down enough to notice the nudge of your spirit, to hold space between impulse and action so that wisdom has room to rise. Let discernment become a reflex, not just a rescue. Let it be the rhythm that guides every yes, every no, every not yet. God, I confess how often I rely on my own understanding, assuming I can predict outcomes, solve problems, or evaluate motives on my own. But I can see the whole picture, and I never will. Only you know the heart. Only you see the end from the beginning. So today I choose humility. I admit my limits not as weakness, but as worship, because you are limitless, and you offer to lead. Let me lean into that divine partnership, trusting that with every surrendered moment, you sharpen my insight and make the path clearer, even when it is not always easier. Lord, there will be decisions today that require more than logic, ones that demand more than what is visible. So plant within me a deep sensitivity to truth. Let me be able to recognize deception, even when it is dressed in beauty. Let me feel the discomfort of compromise before it takes root. And when something seems too good to be true, give me the courage to ask harder questions, to wait longer, to seek you deeper. Dante, let me chase shortcuts that bypass the sacred. Let integrity speak louder than impulse. Father, wisdom is more than knowledge. It is how knowledge is held, applied, and lived out in love. So let me be someone who does not just know what is right, but lives it out in grace. Let my insight never be used to judge, but to serve. Let me discern not to control, but to protect. Give me words that clarify, not confuse, actions that heal, not harm, thoughts that challenge what is broken and champion what is whole. And when I must speak truth, let it be truth wrapped in compassion and courage. God, I ask that you surround me with wise counsel people who are not just intelligent, but anchored. Friends who value truth over popularity, who call me higher, who see what I miss. Let me recognize their voice as one you use. Help me remain open to correction without growing defensive. Let pride not harden my hearing. And when I am the one who must offer perspective, let me do it with gentleness, not superiority. Let every interaction become a moment of shared discernment, where wisdom multiplies, not divides. Lord, protect me from distraction disguised as opportunity. Not every open door is mine to walk through. Not every invitation is aligned with purpose. Not every urgent matter is truly important. Teach me the power of selective focus, the ability to say no with peace and yes with purpose. Let me not fear missing out when I choose what matters most. Let me not be guilted into business or praised for burnout. Let wisdom govern my calendar, my commitments, my capacity, Father, I know discernment is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers in the unease before a decision, in the quiet warning when something feels off, in the peace that rests even when logic resists. So help me pay attention to the quiet. Help me believe that your Spirit still speaks through promptings. Scripture. Godly advice, or the unrest in my own spirit. Help me not to overanalyze, but to listen deeply. Let me walk forward with confidence, not because I know the entire path, because I know the one who leads it. God, I pray for wisdom in how I use my words today. Let me discern when to speak and when silence says more, when to encourage and when to challenge, when to ask questions and when to simply listen. Let my communication be full of grace and seasoned with truth, never reckless or rushed. And if I must respond in conflict, help me be quick to hear, slow to speak, and even slower to anger. Let me leave people better than I found them seen, valued, and understood. Lord, I lift up my work to you, whether in an office, a home, a classroom, a field, or behind the scenes. Give me wisdom in every task. Help me discern the difference between excellence and perfectionism, between urgency and importance, between calling and compulsion. Let me do what I do with clarity, care, and the quiet awareness that I am doing it with you. Let your Spirit direct the flow of my energy, so that I am productive without being frantic, diligent without being drained. Father, I also bring my relationships before you. Give me discernment in what to nurture, what to release, what to repair. Show me who is in my life for a reason, for a season, or for refinement. Let me love without losing boundaries, and set boundaries without losing love. Let wisdom shape the way I relate, how I forgive, how I confront, how I stay, and how I let go. Let every connection be anchored in truth and built on trust, not manipulation or performance. God, when I face situations that confuse or overwhelm, remind me that I do not need to solve everything immediately. Some things are meant to unfold over time. Some answers come through waiting, not rushing. So help me embrace the slow work of wisdom. Let me be okay with not knowing, not fixing, not controlling. Let me hold tension without collapsing. Let me walk through questions with grace. And let peace be the sign that I am still walking with you. Lord, I thank you for the promise that if any of us lacks wisdom, we can ask, and you give it generously, without shame, without delay. So I ask again, even now, let my mind be aligned with truth. Let my spirit be led by your light. Let my decisions today reflect trust, not fear. Let my responses echo discernment, not assumption. And let the fruit of every wise step be peace, not only for me, but for everyone around me. As I rise into this day, wisdom walk beside me like a faithful friend. Let discernment be the compass that gently directs my every turn. Let each choice, whether seen or hidden, be shaped by love, aimed at truth, and carried out with quiet strength. Let my life not only move forward, but move forward well, guided by the one who sees it all. Father, even as wisdom guides my steps and discernment guards my heart, I find myself arriving at places where answers fade and questions linger. There are moments when clarity is not yet mine, and the road ahead feels shrouded in mystery. Still, I choose to walk, not because I can see everything, but because I trust that you do. My soul leans into you now, not for immediate solutions, but for unwavering presence in the spaces between certainty and surrender. You are not only the God of answers, but the God who stays when there are none. Lord, the world I wake up to is ever-changing. News cycles shift. Circumstances evolve. Relationships grow and drift. Doors open and close. Some change feels exciting, others unsettling. But all of it reminds me that nothing here is fixed. In this swirl of instability, you remain the same, steady, faithful, unshaken. So I hold on to that truth when everything else feels unpredictable. Let the constancy of your nature be my anchor. Let the weight of your promises outweigh the fear of what I do not know. God, sometimes I admit that I resist change, even when it is necessary. I cling to what is familiar because it feels safer than the unknown. I try to plan every detail, orchestrate outcomes, secure guarantees, but all of that striving leaves me exhausted and anxious. You never ask me to be in control, only to trust. So I lay down my need to foresee. I loosen my grip on outcomes. I open my hands to the possibility that what I fear may actually be the beginning of something sacred. Let me trust your timing even when it disrupts mine. Father, help me to find rest even while I am waiting. Let me not mistake stillness for stagnation or silence for absence. You are working even when I cannot trace the outline of your hand. You are preparing what I cannot yet perceive. You are shaping me in the waiting just as much as in the arriving. Give me grace to stay present, to stop asking when and start asking, how can I be faithful here? Let every delay be an invitation to deepen trust, not a reason to doubt your goodness. Lord, sometimes change feels like loss, when I must let go of what once brought joy, when seasons shift and people leave, when dreams fade or chapters and I feel the ache of transition. But even in grief, you are near. You gather the pieces of what was and begin the work of what will be. Let me trust that every ending holds a seed of new beginning, even if I can't see it yet. Let me bring my sorrow honestly to you and find in return the comfort that only you can give. Let change become sacred ground where transformation takes root. God, when change comes through challenge, when it is sudden, unwanted, or painful, I confess I am tempted to panic or shut down. But you invite me to bring my fear into the light, to name it, to release it, to trade it for peace. Help me not to be hardened by difficulty, but softened into resilience. Let my trials carve out deeper trust. Let my discomfort drive me toward you, not away. Teach me to respond, not react, to pause before assuming the worst, to believe that even here, you are writing a redemptive story. Father, in transitions I did not choose, help me find footing. Show me how to adjust without losing my identity, to adapt without abandoning truth. Let me honor the past without idolizing it, embrace the present without rushing through it, and look toward the future without dread. Let me recognize when you are closing a door out of protection, not punishment. Let me celebrate new beginnings even when they are wrapped in uncertainty. Let each change remind me that I am not the author of my life, you are, and your story is better than mine. Lord, I know that sometimes the biggest changes happen inside of me, not around me. Attitudes shifting, old patterns breaking, new desires stirring. Sometimes it is not a job or a city or a relationship that changes, it is my heart. And that, too, is holy. So I yield to the internal work you are doing. I invite you to change the way I see, the way I respond, the way I live. Let transformation begin not with circumstances, but with character. Let me be renewed from the inside out, so that whatever changes on the outside, I remain grounded in you. God, I pray for wisdom in seasons of decision-making when paths diverge and I must choose. Free me from the fear of choosing wrong when I am seeking you sincerely. Let me believe that you can redirect me if I veer off course. Let peace, not pressure, be the compass that guides my steps. Help me to move forward without needing absolute clarity, trusting that light will come as I walk. Let me make decisions rooted in truth, not panic. Let every move be an act of faith, not an escape from discomfort. Father, for the ones I love who are also walking through change, whether joyful or painful, give me sensitivity to support them well. Help me to listen without trying to fix, to stay without rushing, to encourage without preaching. Let my presence be a reminder of yours. Let my words breathe courage into their awareness. Let me walk beside them with empathy, not assumption. And if I must release someone I love into a new season, give me grace to bless them, even when it stretches my heart. Lord, teach me to hold life loosely, but love deeply, to be fully present where I am, while not resisting where you are leading. Let me be brave enough to say goodbye when needed, and bold enough to say yes when opportunity comes. Let me not be paralyzed by what might change, but empowered by what cannot, the assurance that I am yours and you are with me. Let that truth be louder than every unknown. Let it ring in my spirit louder than every fear. God, remind me that your nature is unchanging, even as everything else moves. Your love does not falter. Your promises do not expire. Your presence does not flicker. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that means I can wake up tomorrow with the same trust I choose today. Change may come like wind through the trees, but I will not be uprooted. I will stand, not because of what I know, but because of who I know. I will move forward, not because the path is smooth, but because you go before me. As I continue into this day, let me be someone who navigates change with grace, who greets transition not with fear, but with faith, who honors the past, embraces the present, and steps into the future with eyes wide open. Let every uncertain turn become a sacred space where your voice grows louder and my trust grows deeper. Let each unknown become an invitation not to retreat, but to draw nearer to you. And let the unfolding of my story be marked by courage, rooted in confidence not in myself, but in your unshakable love, God. As I move through the fragile terrain of transition, I find myself longing for peace that does not depend on what I can explain or control. The kind of peace that is not dictated by outcomes, but by your nearness. Just as the winds of change have swirled around me, threatening to knock me off course, there has been an unshakable calm anchoring my soul, a stillness I know comes only from you. And so now, Lord, I lean deeper into that peace, trusting that it will carry me through both the predictable and the unpredictable, through what I expect and what I never saw coming. Father, I confess that I often chase peace in the wrong places. I try to earn it by completing checklists, achieving goals, solving problems, or avoiding conflict. But those are fleeting comforts, and they vanish the moment something does not go according to plan. I realize now that true peace is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of you in the midst of it. Let me become more aware of you than I am of the noise around me. Let me listen not to the panic in my chest, but to the quiet assurance in my spirit reminding me I am held. Lord, I have begun to understand that peace is not passive. It is not just lying down and hoping things settle. It is active trust. It is choosing stillness when my instincts scream to run. It is choosing to speak gently when everything in me wants to lash out. It is choosing to believe the best when doubt is louder. It is waking up in a world of chaos and deciding, again and again, to respond with grace. Let me live from that kind of peace, the one that silences fear, not by shouting over it, by grounding me in the truth of who you are, God. In the moments when my mind races and my thoughts spiral, remind me that I am not at the mercy of anxiety. I can breathe deeply because you are present. I can slow down because you are in control. I can rest, not because the world is quiet, but because you are my refuge. Let every anxious thought be met with a whispered promise from you. Let every heavy sigh turn into a prayer. Let every clenched muscle begin to relax under the warmth of your care. You are not a God of confusion, but of clarity. Not a God of disorder, but of divine rhythm and harmony. Father, help me to protect my peace, not by building walls, but by setting wise boundaries. Let me say no when necessary, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Let me be careful what I allow into my heart, what I watch, what I read, what I absorb from the world around me. Let me guard my joy, not with defensiveness, but with discernment. Let me be a peacemaker, not a peacekeeper, one who does not just avoid conflict, but brings restoration, healing, and unity. Let my words mend instead of wound. Let my actions reflect your gentleness, even in tension. Lord, I long to be a person who carries peace into every room, who does not bring more chaos to an already burdened world, who listens more than speaks, who seeks to understand rather than to dominate, who looks people in the eye and reminds them, even wordlessly, that they are safe. Let me become so saturated with your peace that it overflows into every conversation, every choice, every moment I am given. Let people feel lighter after they have been in my presence. Because I have been in yours, God, I know peace is not always instant. Sometimes it comes slowly, like light at dawn, gradually pushing back the shadows. Sometimes it has to be fought for, prayed for, waited for. Sometimes it does not make sense to anyone but me, and even I can barely explain it. And yet, when it comes, it changes everything. Let me never stop seeking it, even when the journey feels long. Let me believe that peace is not just a reward, but a way of life one cultivated in quiet moments of surrender, over and over again. Father, teach me to breathe in rhythm with your grace. Inhale trust. Exhale fear. Inhale mercy. Exhale shame. Inhale stillness. Exhale striving. Let every breath become a rhythm of rest. Let the rising and falling of my chest remind me that I am alive today, not by accident, but by divine design. Let each breath slow me down enough to notice you again, to remember that you are not rushing me, not scolding me, not measuring me, but gently guiding me toward wholeness. Lord, for the storms I cannot control, I ask for calm within. For the outcomes I cannot predict, I ask for faith in the waiting. For the wounds I cannot yet heal, I ask for the courage to hope. Let peace not be the destination I strive to reach someday, but the path I choose to walk today. Let it be woven into how I speak, how I move, how I rest, how I work. Let it be the lens through which I see the world, a world not abandoned or broken beyond repair, but still infused with your grace and potential. God, for those who wake up this morning with heavy hearts, I ask that you wrap them in a quiet sense of comfort. For those facing decisions, let your peace be the loudest voice in the room. For those in grief, let peace walk beside them like a friend who does not need to say much, only to be present. For those who feel forgotten, remind them that they are known, seen, loved. And for those running on empty, breathe into their weary places. Let peace fall on them like soft rain, unforced and unexpected. Father, I surrender again the things that try to steal my peace: comparison, resentment, regret, unmet expectations. I lay them down and take up gratitude, not because everything is perfect, but because you are present in the imperfection. Not because I understand everything, but because I trust the one who does. Not because I am strong, but because you are. Let gratitude become my posture. Even before the answer comes, let it rise up in me until peace becomes the melody my life sings. Lord, let me end each day the way I begin it, in quiet communion with you. Let me look back not with anxiety, but with awe for how you sustained me, how you whispered calm into the edges of my day, how you were there when I needed you most. And let that memory carry me into tomorrow with less fear and more expectancy. Let my days stack up like stones of remembrance, each one marked by moments when peace showed up, unexpected and holy, right in the middle of my ordinary life. God, I know that peace is not something I have to manufacture, it is something I receive. And so, with hands open wide, I receive it now, not just as an idea, but as a living reality, a force strong enough to quiet storms, a gift tender enough to heal the smallest ache, a presence deep enough to meet me at every crossroad. You are my peace, not just in word, but in truth, and with you, I can stand through anything, walk through anything, rise from anything. So I carry this peace with me now, not tucked away, but held in plain view, not hidden from the world, but offered to it. Not fragile, but fierce in its quiet strength. Let it be the rhythm of my footsteps, the echo of my thoughts, the calm in my voice, the pause in my spirit. Let it shape me until I can no longer tell where my soul ends and your presence begins. Let peace be not only what I pray for, but who I become. Father, as I continue from the stillness that your peace brings, my heart leans gently into the comfort of your presence, knowing that what I carry today does not need to be carried alone. You have not asked me to run ahead, to strive, or to prove anything, only to walk with you. And so I begin this morning with a sacred stillness, not in body alone, but in soul. Let the hush of your nearness settle into my bones. Let it become the very rhythm of how I move through this day. Lord, there is something beautiful about trusting without noise. When I am no longer searching for signs in the sky, but simply breathing steadily, knowing that you are guiding every step I take. There is no panic in you, no rushing in your ways, only steady grace that meets me exactly where I am. Teach me to move in cadence with your calm, not racing ahead, not falling behind, but staying aligned with your spirit. Let each decision I face be filtered through your wisdom, not my worry. Let my voice echo clarity, not confusion. Let my heart speak kindness before it reacts in defense. God, I admit how easy it is to drift back into patterns of fear, trying to manage what is not mine to control. But this morning, I surrender the illusion of control. I lay down the burdens I was never meant to carry and return to the simplicity of your promise. You go before me, and you walk beside me. You do not abandon. You do not forget. You do not ask me to face a single challenge without the covering of your grace. So why should I be afraid of what lies ahead, when the one who shaped eternity walks with me? Father, I ask for a quiet confidence, not arrogance, not self-reliance, but the steady assurance that comes from knowing I am yours. Let it reflect in how I hold my head high, even when uncertainty clouds my view. Let it shine through how I speak life, even in places that feel barren. Let it steady my hands when I feel overwhelmed, anchor my thoughts when my mind begins to wander toward fear. Let calms not come from my ability, but from my connection to you, the source of all strength and wisdom. Lord, help me to respond instead of react. In moments of tension, let me pause and hear your whisper before I speak. Let me choose words that build bridges, not walls. Let me listen more than I assert. Let me consider more than I assume. Let me carry the fragrance of peace into every interaction, even with those who are difficult to love. Let me honor you not just in private prayer, but in public grace in the way I treat those who cross my path today. God, remind me that I do not need the approval of others when I walk in alignment with your truth. Let my confidence be rooted in identity, not performance. Let it grow in silence, not in applause. Let it remain even when misunderstood, even when unseen. Because you see me, you affirm what others cannot comprehend. You delight in what the world may overlook. I am not trying to win anyone over. I am simply learning to live free in your love. Father, I pray for the humility to remain teachable. Confidence is not stubbornness. It is not about having all the answers, but being open to the better way you are always revealing. Let me receive correction with grace. Let me recognize when to speak and when to be silent. Let me not cling to my opinion as if it were truth itself, but always remain open to the movement of your spirit in unexpected ways. Let my heart be soft even when my stance is firm. Lord, strengthen the parts of me that have grown weary, the places in my soul that feel stretched thin by the demands of life, by the weight of responsibility, by the ache of unanswered prayers. Remind me that it is okay to rest. That rest is not laziness, but trust in you. That sitting still can be a holy act of rebellion against a world that glorifies hustle. That being present is more powerful than always being productive. That today's worth is not measured by checklists, but by moments I choose to live aware of you. God, draw my attention to the small wonders around me. The way the sunlight filters through the window, the gentle steam rising from a warm cup, the sound of birds declaring morning with no agenda but joy, the way breath enters and leaves my body without demand. Let these be holy reminders that you are not just in the grand gestures, but in the sacred simplicity of now. Let gratitude rise in me like a soft breeze, not forced but flowing naturally from noticing what I so often overlook. Father, I ask for discernment today, not just to know what is right, but to sense what is wise. Let me recognize what is urgent, but not important. Let me slow down long enough to choose the best over the good. Let me resist the pressure to do everything, and instead lean into doing the right things with peace and intention. Let every yes be deliberate. Let every no be gentle but firm. Let my priorities reflect the unseen values you are cultivating within me. Lord, as I walk through this day, let my steps be steady even if the path shifts beneath me. Let my tone remain calm even if conversations grow tense. Let my smile remain sincere even if circumstances disappoint. Let the weight of the world not enter my spirit. Let me carry light even in heavy places. Let me become known not for being the loudest in the room, but the most anchored in love. God, for the people I will meet today, some familiar, some unknown, I ask that I see them through your eyes. Let me not rush past their humanity. Let me notice their awareness, their beauty, their longing to be seen and heard. Let me offer compassion before judgment, presence before answers. Let me become a safe space for others to breathe, even for a moment, as they glimpse the peace I am learning to carry through you. Father, thank you for the deep assurance that I am not alone, that no matter what this day holds, I do not walk into it empty. I walk into it clothed in grace, armed with truth, surrounded by mercy, and filled with peace that does not waver with headlines or expectations. Let this awareness shape every interaction. Let it remind me to move through the world as a bearer of hope, not fear, as one who remembers that love is the highest calling. Lord, let the way I carry myself reflect the quiet confidence that comes from being anchored in something eternal. Let my spirit remain unshaken, not because life is easy, but because you are unchanging. Let my joy not depend on good news, but on the Good Shepherd who walks beside me. Let my heart beat in time with heaven, slow and steady, faithful and free. God, As I close this time in your presence, but not in distance from you, let the peace I have received in this still moment remain with me throughout the day. Let it cling to my skin like warmth after sunlight, linger in my thoughts like melody, and return to me in moments when I forget. You are my resting place, my safe harbor, my firm foundation. And because you are near, I walk forward not afraid, not unsure, but at peace. Lord, as the final hush of this sacred morning settles over my spirit, I come to you once more with a heart open and listening. Wrapped in the quiet confidence you have steadily built within me through each moment of reflection. This journey with you has not been one of grand gestures or dramatic awakenings, but the slow, steady layering of grace upon grace, truth upon truth, and mercy upon mercy. Every breath I have taken in this stillness has been a reminder that I am held not just in theory, not just in words, but in reality, in presence, in you, God. I look back over the landscape of these mornings we have shared, and I see how you have led me not as a distant ruler issuing commands from afar, but as a loving Father, whispering into the corners of my day with gentle strength. You have not rushed me. You have not demanded perfection. You have simply invited me to be with you, to listen, to learn, to breathe deeply of something more eternal than the noise around me. And I am changed by that quiet invitation. I carry it now not only as memory, but as a rhythm I long to walk in. Father, thank you for showing me that faith is not always loud, not always felt in fireworks or thunder, but often found in the softness of daily surrender. Thank you for teaching me to find strength not in control, but in yielding, not in pushing harder, but in trusting deeper. You have taught me to slow down, to listen beneath the surface of what others say, to see beyond what is obvious, to lean into the uncomfortable until it reveals its hidden blessing. You have taught me that your voice is often clearest not in my striving, but in my stillness. Lord, as I prepare to carry this quiet with me into the hours that lie ahead, I do not want to leave it behind like a forgotten garment. I want to wear it like a covering. Let your peace accompany me, not just through these early hours, but into the heat of the day, into its challenges, its interruptions, its unexpected turns. Let the calm I have received not vanish with the morning mist, but remain, rooted, unwavering. Let it inform the way I speak, the way I respond, the way I love, the way I forgive. God, for those who have journeyed through these moments, with me those who have listened, prayed, wondered, and returned, I offer gratitude, not just for their presence, but for their courage to show up, to keep seeking, to keep asking hard questions even in silence. Thank you for the invisible threads of hope you are weaving between us. Even though we may never meet face to face, let these shared prayers become seeds of transformation in their lives too. Let them know that they are seen deeply and tenderly by you. Father, in the quiet of this chapter's end, I ask that you meet each heart right where it is. Some come wary, some curious, some aching, some full of joy, some unsure of how to believe again. But all are welcome in your presence. Let this not be an end, but a threshold. Let this stillness be the beginning of a deeper walk, a stronger trust, a more surrendered life. Let it open eyes to the beauty they have missed. Let it open hearts to grace they thought was for others, but not for them. Let it remind them that no one is too far for love to reach. Lord, I ask that you breathe new courage into the places where fear still lingers. Speak into the shadows that remain. Bring light, not with violence, but with gentleness. Let the warmth of your truth dissolve what coldness remains. Let every place that has felt stuck begin to move again, not rushed, but freed. Let every place that has grown numb begin to feel again, not overwhelmed, but revived. Let every soul that has grown quiet with pain find voice, again, not in noise, but in holy honesty. God, I pray for those who will rise after this moment, returning to routine, responsibilities, and roles. Let something invisible go with them, a shift they may not have words for, yet a quiet knowing, a holy clarity, a sense that they are not walking alone. Let it change the way they hold the mundane. Let it transform the way they endure the difficult. Let it lift their eyes when the world pulls them down. Let it remind them that no effort to seek you is wasted, that every whisper toward heaven is heard. Father, in the soft space between endings and beginnings, I ask that you plant something eternal. Let no heart walk away untouched. Let no mind dismiss what has stirred within. Let every seed of hope that has been sown over these mornings find soil rich with redness. And even if nothing blossoms immediately, let them wait with patience. Let them trust that your timing is not slow but perfect, that what begins in silence often breaks forth in beauty. Lord, let the memory of this prayer remain not as a relic, but as a living echo. Let it rise in the middle of a stressful moment. Let it return in the quiet before sleep. Let it whisper in the car, in the kitchen, in the hallway, in the moment before a meeting, in the pause before a choice. Let it not belong only to early hours, but to every hour. Let it shape how we live, not just how we pray. God, I do not ask for a life free of storms, but for an anchor that holds through them. I do not ask to be spared from every burden, but to be strengthened in carrying them. I do not ask for certainty, but for a peace that surpasses understanding. You have offered all of this. You are all of this, and I receive it not with grasping hands, but with open palms, not with desperation, but with deep trust. Father, thank you. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for the breath in my lungs, for the life in my body, for the awareness of something more than this temporary world. Thank you for your patience when I forget, your mercy when I fail, your nearness when I wander, and your joy when I return. Thank you for never giving up on me. Not once. Not ever. And now, as the light begins to stretch across the horizon, as shadows slowly retreat before the arrival of a new day, I feel the first kiss of morning air against my skin. A breeze, quiet and clean, moves through the leaves like a whisper from heaven. The sky blushes with color, soft pinks and gentle golds, as if creation itself is beginning to pray. The world wakes without chaos, Without demand, just the faithful unfolding of a promise kept. And somewhere inside me, I know I am part of that unfolding too. To everyone who has walked through this journey with me, thank you for sharing in the sacred quiet. If this time has stirred something within you, I invite you to share your own thoughts, your own prayers, your own stories in the space below. Let this not be the end of our communion, but the beginning of something we build together in faith. If this prayer has touched your spirit, consider subscribing to this channel. Share it with someone who may need this breath of peace. Return to it when your heart needs stillness. And above all, continue choosing faith every morning, every moment, every step. Let the day begin with light, with stillness, and with grace flowing like a river that never runs dry.